And we are live. Hello everyone, welcome. It's Europe Day, baby! Happy Europe Day, people. I hope you're doing well. Welcome for this exceptional stream on Europe Day. I'll be streaming all day with you, or almost all day. I'm going to still do a break to have lunch and touch on grass, but we have a full program for us today. This morning we're going to stream in English. This afternoon we're going to stream in French. I have an exciting guest for you today. It's going to be great. And my guests are already there, so they're waiting for us eagerly. So I will quickly introduce you to the program of the day, and then we'll get to it. So what do we do today? It's Europe Day, as I said. So we're gonna do content that is a bit out of the usual compared to what we do normally with the news review. We're gonna start with the return of my Eurobubble therapy format. I have with me two great content creators, European content creators, of course, and we'll be I will introduce them to you just in a minute. Last Call Europe and European Propaganda Agency. So we're gonna discuss with them for an hour and a half or something like this about their projects, about Europe Day, about some current news that they thought are particularly interesting to discuss. Of course, we'll discuss with you if you have questions for them, things to react and everything. So that's going to keep us busy for a while. And once we are done with this Eurobubble therapy, we'll do something a bit lighter. We'll watch memes. I compiled, or I had someone compiled for me a bunch of EU memes, and so we're going to watch EU memes and discuss them, if there are political explanations to do, etc., etc. So that should keep us busy for this morning. This afternoon will be in French, like I said, but I won't spoil that. I will tell you the program in French when we start the stream in French. But yeah, that's the program for today. I don't think I have forgotten anything, so I don't want to keep my guests waiting any longer, and so we'll dive right into it. And also before we start chat, I will ask you to do a sound check and let me know if the sound of everyone is good, so that then I can adjust if necessary. All right, so now we are live. Hello Iago, hello Milan. How are we doing today?
Hello. Happy Europe
We are
Day.
doing very good.
Good, perfect. Okay. So chat, like I said, let me know if the sound of everyone is okay. You don't have any echo and everything. That way I can adjust things as we go. But otherwise, thanks again, Iago and Milan, for taking the time to be with us today. It's Europe Day. It's an exceptional thing, and I know that you will both have a pretty busy day ahead of you with the celebration, and also in the case of Milan, you even have a government coming up. So that's even you have a double dose of important things happening today. So perhaps to kick us off, I'd like to ask you maybe to introduce yourself to the audience and what you do. So Iago, maybe to start, tell us about yourself.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me here. My name is Iago De Gaetano, but on social media I'm known as Aurelio because it's easier name to pronounce and to remember. And yes, I'm the co-founder and vice president of Last Call Europe, a youth-driven project which try to get along with every state of the European Union to form a new base for the youth that one day will lead our country and promote the debate, which is the fundamental principle of democracy. Through debate, we can find solution. Otherwise, it's just blah blah, and nothing comes out of it. So, thank you for having me here again.
Well, thanks for being there. Milan, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, I am. Some of you might have seen me already. I'm posting quite a few memes on Instagram as European Propaganda Agency, and also I'm active at We Are Europe. I think a few people know it at least now, especially when I was in university, and my teacher in European decision making, he knew We Are Europe,
really?
which quite surprised me. Yeah, it was quite a surprise. We Are Europe is, I'll just explain it, it's like a protest movement kind of. It's non-party aligned, and we are basically demanding more united Europe all across over Europe in different European countries. Also today in Kiev, actually, as well, which is quite amazing, I would say. And today we are also on the streets everywhere in Europe and celebrating Europe Day. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm very active there. I'm doing a lot of the social media stuff that you have seen.
And so sorry, I forgot to ask you, where are you from respectively? So Iago, you're
Oh,
Italian?
Yes, exactly.
And I'm half German, half Hungarian.
Okay, and you live in Germany or you live in Hungary?
I moved to Hungary recently.
Okay. All right. So now that the introductions are done, I want to since many people, I don't know many people, people in the audience may not know your respective projects. So let's start with you, Milan. So Milan, you said that you are on the one side doing EU-related meme as a European propaganda agency, but you're also active in this We Are Europe movement. And my question is like, when did you start doing this, and what pushed you to start doing these things, to get involved, let's say, in the European movement in general?
Yeah, I mean, my propaganda page, I just call it like this. I think it's a if someone accuses you of making propaganda, it's not going to work because it's literally called propaganda. So that's my defense there. But I started doing it last year, I think around March or April, when there was this quite outrageous meeting in the Oval Office between Zelensky and Trump. I think a lot of us got really motivated to do something from that point on. And regarding We Are Europe, the movement is quite new, quite fresh, and it started around January at least. And that was a time when we got the people together and brainstormed basically about what we can do, because we wanted to get people on the streets for Europe. And we have achieved, I would say, quite a lot in the first few months now. And we will keep going, getting people out on the streets to protest for a more united Europe. Right now, we are also demanding to fix the veto. I think right now it's the best opportunity to do it before in some other country, some leader again tries to annoy everyone else in the EU. So I think right now is the best time to change this. And we are also demanding this as the We Are Europe movement. And we are non-party aligned, meaning we are above parties. Anyone is welcome, basically, because we just unite under the goal for more united Europe.
And what about you, Iago? When did you start, and when pushed you to co-create Last Call Europe?
Okay. First of all, I since I was grown kid, like 14 years old, I was always interested in politics, but I never do anything really important. So by growing up, I started to develop some kind of emotion throughout politics even much, and beside Italy, also for Europe. Last year, I started also to have a little bit of fear for, let's say, my country, but also Europe, because things were not getting really well. And I started to say, okay, now it's the time we should act. I need to do my part. I need to improve. I need to help the process to make Europe and Italy even better. So yes, beside creating our project Last Call Europe with my friend Giacomo Lembruni, which we also push for European propaganda as well as Milan, and for a Federation of Europe. I also started politics on local situationships. From my town, which is Vicenza, I started to get along with some politicians, some guys that also works in politics, and it's very different at first, because once you point to Europe and once you look at your local politics, it's a different world. So when you actually put yourself to work, you develop very good skills. like the skills of talking in public, the skills of rational thinking, which is underestimate as skills. In this period of time where everybody go crazy and say whatever they want, rational thinking is actually one of the most important skills we have. And yes, it was going by fear, but it's going by also passion, for sure. We are developing a great team. I'm loving what I'm doing. It's hard, but I love hard things that gets you somewhere. Like when you climb a mountain, it's really hard.
Yeah,
But
your
you
sense
know
of
when you
achievement.
get
Yeah,
up, you're the leader of the world.
yeah.
You feel
And
the
do you find it challenging at time? Like since you say you're active at on EU level, let's say political topics, and also on very local issues. So in your small town, like do you find it challenging, like to go from things that are hyper meta to things that are hyper local, or you manage to do the switch without too much difficulty?
it's not difficult to change your view on local matters and on international matters, but it's difficult in a matter of time because when you have only 24 hours and you need
Yeah.
6 to sleep, you need other 8 to study because since I am a student of university, I also have to study. You find quite difficult to get along with the time. So you need to so one day you need to focus on this thing, one day you need to focus on that thing. You need to schedule your day, and yes, it's quite challenging, but it's possible. So also because where I'm from, the people do not really like Europe. They still have
Oh,
this
really?
view of unfortunately, in where I'm from, there's the party leading is mostly national focus. Is
Okay.
mostly Euro skeptics. So they don't quite like Europe. But I'm trying to change that. I'm trying to focus on that. I'm in contact with politicians that actually aims to Europe because Europe is the future. We cannot lose the focus. Europe is the future.
And Milan, so you mentioned you're both of you are students. At the moment, I feel very old now because my students here are very far behind me. But both of you are students, and so you have to juggle with the between like being a student, having to study, having a social life. I hope you have a social life, but also doing all the content, all the activities that you have as activists. So do you find it challenging, like to juggle these two lives that you have to maintain, or in the end you found a way to make it work all together? Milan, maybe start on this.
I have to say I'm like still trying to figure out how I can balance it because sometimes I'm just very like locked into like doing all this like let's say stuff to like related to EU and quite neglecting university, let's say. At least it feels like this to me, although my grades are still completely fine. So there's but it's still like the balance is kind of getting out of hand sometimes, and I'm really just focused on the EU stuff. But obviously education is important, so I still have to focus on that as well. But yeah, it's. I mean, I don't think we're getting paid for it, so it's quite a lot of work. And but I love to do it, so I will. I'm happily sacrificing some of my free time for this project.
And did
I
you
think
like
it's a good cause.
enroll like some of your friends at university into that, or are you keeping it fairly separate and they look at you weirdly like why the hell are you doing this EU stuff? Just go and have beers with us.
It's I mean some of them didn't even like know I was doing it until like quite recently. I started like posting just everywhere and trying to reach out to people, but some of them are actually texted me and said, "Hey, can I join? Can I help somehow?" And a lot of them are. I'm really thankful for them that they're also trying to help and helping me sometimes. For example, when I want to film a video, I know that there are people who I can rely on who are great friends, and they can, for example, film for me while I'm, for example, interviewing people tomorrow and today maybe as well about what they think about Europe here in Hungary.
Yeah, and you also mentioned that your teachers even like knew about or more about where we are Europe, but do they know that you are behind this, or they were making reference to the project without knowing that you were behind it?
No, I just like my EU decision making teacher. I walked up to him and like wanted to talk to him about We Are Europe because he works in the European Parliament, and
Okay. What does it
then
do?
I just like I don't even know exactly, but he's working there somewhere. I don't remember exactly what his position is, but and I wanted to show him like We Are Europe, and he was like, "Oh wait, I know this." So that was quite a surprise to me. And yeah, I don't think most of the people know that what I'm doing though. But yeah, let's see. Maybe this changes.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get involved more in local politics as well in Hungary now that I'm here. So let's see how
yeah,
it goes.
and as the dinosaur here, like it seems to me like it becomes easier now, like to have like a social media persona and social media project to run on the side of being a student and or even as a job, because I started MEP assistant like 13 years ago now. And at the beginning, like it was, I did that when I was in the parliament, and so I was a bit paranoid because it was back then it was anonymous, because I was like, yeah, okay, I was doing memes. If that goes out, potentially there could be there could be professional consequences on this. So I was actually very paranoid, about like people knowing about how. I'm the guy doing the all the memes about EU politics and everything. It's only like what 5 years ago now, I think, that I became like public, so to say. Basically, when I started, not even when I started streaming, because when I started streaming, like I was off camera. You could hear my voice, but not my face. And it's only when I won a prize that I had to become public, and I was very very stressed like when it happened, because oh shit, like I have a professional life. Will that impact things, etc., etc.? And in the end, it did not. Like people are actually curious about it. I even have some time, like so I work in Brussels, and sometimes I go like to very serious conferences about very serious topics, like as part of my job, and suddenly I will have someone come to you. Oh yeah, you're MEP assistant. I know what you're doing. I'm like, like we're in the middle of nowhere. Like suddenly I have a random person coming to us. Oh, okay, that's nice. Thanks. Still weird. I still feel like do I deserve this kind of recognition? But yeah, I would have liked back then to have been able to be maybe a bit more public about things. Now it's good that you guys can do it. Let's say publicly without. I mean, you're students, so let's say the repercussions are not necessarily big if they get known. But yeah. Anyway, we are on Europe Day, 9th of May. That's great. What made you a European in the first place? Like, is there anything? Was there like one particular thing that made you a European, or was it something that seemed natural like all along, and for you it's just like, oh yeah, of course I'm European, I'm born in Europe, and I'm doing things. So was it an awakening, or was it just something that was seen as natural, always natural? So Iago, what's your take on this?
It might sound weird, but the first thing that actually reaches me on social media to get me along with Europe was memes. It was edits of Europe that actually pop out in my for UP, and I look at them and say, "Oh wow, that's cool." And there were edits saying Europe is very beautiful because we have the most. The things so that oh look on Belgium, oh look in France, oh we have this thing in Poland and other things. So edits actually get you along with Europe. It's not to underestimate the power of memes and a power of direct approach on social media. Like for example, the live, the debates we do and on social media on digital places. And but one thing for sure that made me European, it was the first time I was able to vote. The first time I was able to vote for Europe, not for in general, because general was my city. But for Europe, I felt important. I feel like I decide the future of Europe. And when you see many people in my region that they don't care about Europe, they don't like Europe. When am the one of the few people that goes and vote for Europe, I felt really important and say, no, we need to change this. I cannot go on and see people leaving the polling station empty because they were empty on the European election. So I said, no, 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 we need to change this.
When was that? 2019, 2024?
It was, yes, it was 2024, I think.
Okay, so
yes,
fairly
yes.
recent.
Yeah, really recent. Yeah, I'm really new on this. And this is
You're
why
young. Again, it's my I'm a dinosaur, so I'm like, oh yeah, something again. Imagining that something only happened 2 years ago. Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, so for you, it's the memes and the elections that made you like interested and get involved in this. And like the memes, were they like coming from random thing? Was it institutional memes, a meme page dedicated to EU? Like where was that coming from?
No, it was just random pages on Instagram and TikTok popping up and putting the memes. So I really liked them.
It's funny because like I said, I started by doing memes. Persistent was the guy who was doing memes about life in the European Parliament and life in the EU politics back then. And like now it seems it seems very natural to you to have memes about politics, about EU politics, etc. Like back when I started, there was nothing, like literally nothing, and the guys, the few guys who were making memes about politics back then, so Bernie Monster or myself, like basically we had to write the playbook on how to make memes about Europe, how to make it funny, and people were very skeptic. Like the idea, again, it will seem very weird to you now, but like if you go on Instagram today, like you look at the political groups like the EPP, the Socialists, the Greens, they make memes about what they do politically. Back then, the idea of a political group of the parliament or the commission or the parliament making a meme, that was like groundbreaking. Apart maybe from the Greens from time to time would play with the concept, but otherwise, like the idea of using humor to talk about Europe, that was completely like that was science fiction for people, and even the concept of meme was like very far away. Like I remember, like for work when I was an assistant, I was working on copyright. I remember having to explain to people what is a meme, which is like again like probably you're gonna laugh because it's very natural, even to me, because I grew up on the internet, so a meme is very natural for even for people of my generation. But having to explain what is a meme, that's
I imagine.
And,
so maybe it's thanks to you if I'm European.
I don't know if I don't know, because my memes are very very niche. It's EU politics, so it was very much the life in the European Parliament, which kind of may allowed me like to grow, because I was telling the randomness and the absurdity that is in the parliament. Like the whole motto was like people imagine that Europe is always like Game of Thrones and stuff like that. No, the daily life in the institution is more like The Office than anything, and you have to deal with an MEP that is like all over the place, inventing random bullshit and everything. But in the end, I'm glad that we kind of wrote the playbook on how to make memes about Europe, and that in the end, it proved that yes, you can make humor about politics, and it can be a vector that converts people. I mean, Iago, your live example. Look, memes can interest people in Europe. What about you, Milan? What was the thing that made you a European, if there was one particular thing?
I would say so. Yeah. I mean, first, I think where I got like really like invested in everything going on was probably when Ukraine got invaded.
How old were you then? If that's not too discreet.
I think like 15, 16. I don't know.
Holy shit!
I
I'm
think,
sorry.
yeah,
I feel
yeah.
terrible now.
Yeah, I'm 20, so yeah, I'm quite young. I think for politics in general. I think if I want to have a higher role in politics, I need to age a bit more. But yeah, like the invasion, and then also I think the protests in Georgia, like seeing what was going on there, quite made an impression on me, because literally like people went out on the streets, hundreds of thousands of people with like EU flags, wanting to be part of the EU, and then I realized like kind of, wait a second, why do people like really? Why do people want this, right? Like you think about it, and it means a lot to them because they're risking everything basically to be part of the EU. And this made a huge impression on me, because then I realized how amazing what we have actually is. And even though there are obviously some issues, it's still something really unique globally, and a great achievement. And I think people should appreciate it more. And that kind of motivated me to, get more involved in everything related to the EU.
Okay, Milan. So maybe you might be too young to have done your Erasmus yet. Iago, have you done an Erasmus yet or not?
No, I quite never done that.
Do you plan to? I mean, I highly recommend, but
I hope so. The one day I will be able to travel across Europe, even for studying. But since I'm also, as I said, focused on local politics, you need to
Fair.
be very near. So it's kind of difficult. But I don't want to lose this opportunity. So maybe, yes, one day I may be Erasmus. From
Okay.
now, I'm 21, so by,
Yeah, but
in the future.
for people my generation, so I'm like I said, I'm a dinosaur. I'm like almost double your age. I'm 37. And like for my generation, like the for many of us, like the thing that made us European is Erasmus. Like that's the thing where we discovered, oh shit, you can travel Europe, and you could see, you can meet people and everything. And ironically, like for me, it's even before that. Like and for many French is going to be they would tell you that they give you that example. So there was a French movie called Auberge Espagnole, which is a movie about a student who does his Erasmus year in Spain, and like the fact that he has to live with people from all over, plenty of different nationalities, the student life there, and for many people, like it was like the sort of an awakening. Say, oh, that's awesome. This thing, like you do your study, and actually you're partying, you're meeting people from all different nationalities, and you're in exciting places and everything. And I remember seeing that movie, like I was maybe like 14 or something like that, and I was like, oh, I have no clue what that Erasmus thing is, but I want to do it. Like no questions asked. I want to do it, and so my objective in life was then I want to do Erasmus later when I do my studies. And the funny thing, and it's going to relate a bit to what you were saying, Iago. So I studied law. And so I always said, like for my first year, oh yeah, I want to do Erasmus in my third year and everything. And I remember speaking to some of my friends and saying them, are you going to apply to do an Erasmus? And actually, I was surprised to see quite a few of them not wanting to do it, but for reasons that are a bit similar to you, Iago, in the sense of my classmates who wanted to do like so I wanted to do international law. I was very much international law international relations kind of focused. But my friends were studying national law, French law. They were telling me, well, yeah, sure, it would be nice to do Erasmus, but I want to become a lawyer. I want to do French law. So if I go 1 year abroad to study non-French law, well, actually, I'm going to lose a year, because either when I want to go in my master's, well, they're gonna say, oh, you're not up to snuff on some aspect of national law, or I will have to catch up on things, etc., etc. And so they say, oh yeah, well, in the end, Erasmus would be like kind of a waste, or of a loss for me compared to what I want to do. So I was like, oh, well, I would still do it. I don't care, but it was still interesting to see that phenomenon. So yeah, my people, my generation, Erasmus is definitely like the thing that everyone will say. Yeah, Erasmus made us European. I mean, you may have heard the statistics that according to estimation, there was like 1 million Erasmus babies. So people who went into who find their partners in Erasmus and then had kids with them. So there is the 1 million theoretical Erasmus babies that were born from that. So that's we contribute to the European natality in a way. But yeah, and so you're both studying international relations, if I recall correctly. Both.
Yeah.
Yes, I do international relationships and political science.
Okay, so there's kind of a pattern. Yeah, there's kind of a pattern. People are getting interested in international law and all that. Looking at the time, we're good in times. We're in terms of time. So let's, unless you want to add something right now, maybe we can go into more like the discussion on the news. So I asked you, each of you, to choose one or two topic of news, EU news related, that you were interesting for you to discuss. So maybe Milan, to start. What do you have for us today?
Yeah, actually, today, 9th of May, Europe Day, and also the inauguration of Peter Magyar, which is today. I'm going there in like a few hours and handing out some stickers I made. I'm giving these to people. Yeah, I got a few hundred of those, and I'm going to give these to people. And yeah, the inauguration of Peter Magyar, basically the first parliamentary session of the new parliament, is going to convene today, which is a huge overwhelming majority TISA. I think you saw also the results. And even the newest polls right now, like after the elections, show that TISA is like, I think like 70% approval rating.
Oh, wow.
Not approval rating, but like if there's like a question, who would you vote for now? And it was like 70% TISA and like 20 something percent Fidesz. So it even went up after the elections. Yeah, the inauguration is today. And Peter Magyar tries to make it like a huge event, like a huge celebration. Yeah. And also the EU flag will be put onto the parliament again, because it wasn't there.
Oh, right.
And they will also play the European Union anthem. It will be also played next to the national anthem of Hungary.
And so I, especially since you're relatively young, I mean, you were the last time it was not Orban. You were 5, basically, if I recall correctly, because he was in power like 16 years, something like that. So you were 4 or 5, and like, do you feel like, especially for people your generation, like some excitement from people for this change, for Magyar coming to power and kind of returning Hungary to the fold, or to the European fold? Like, what's the mood?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Germany, so basically until like I moved here basically to go to university. I never lived here because I thought like 2 citizenships, maybe I should kind of have the responsibility to be here. And it was an interesting time, right, with Peter Magyar and the elections. So it was the perfect time for someone who's interested in politics to move to this country, I would say. And yeah, I mean, on the day TISA won the elections, it was just massive celebrations, and I mean, everyone was celebrating, but also young people, especially because I didn't have like any negative things from the system impacting me because I didn't live here, right, until recently. But still, like, I mean, when I was seeing the news in Germany, when it was about Hungary, it was mostly about what Orban did again, and yeah, what he did was mostly negative, very negative. So that was like the most impression I got, like from Hungary, from the outside when I was growing up. But now when I talk to people here in my age, I mean, they all grew up with the system, and they're just, I think, I don't know the exact numbers, but basically every young person voted against Orban. So they're very relieved now, and people were screaming like EU, 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 like on the day TISA won the elections as well. I was running around with the EU flag as well, and people are very, very relieved. I can say that definitely, for sure.
Okay, and I mean, he has Magyar has a lot of things to do. because like he's doing like the back and forth in Brussels constantly, like to negotiate like the unfreezing of EU money that Orban lost, let's say, because of the degradation of the rule of law. Like I don't know why I'm always confused on the number. Like I think it's like what 10-15 billion euros that that are currently
Yeah.
frozen.
I think it's around like 20 or something, 18 billion. I think it's like 18 billion. I'm not sure about the exact number, but around that, it's roughly around in that area. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's under a lot of pressure because, of course, like people, since he made his campaign around this entire promise, I'm going to improve, to reset the relations with the EU, and I'll get back the cash that Orban lost us. There's a lot of pressure for him to deliver because part of the cash that is currently blocked will expire in August. So if he doesn't get the reforms that the EU wants him to do, well, he could lose like a few billion euros, and politically, that's obviously not going to be going to be a nice thing. On the Orban and on the transition, like to Magyar, Iago, like was it something that people were talking about in Italy? Even if you are in a region like was people are not so EU focused.
Actually, I think I don't really follow television and national programs, but I think they were actually talking very well of the winning of Magyar. Magyar, I'm sorry, I don't know the pronounce correctly.
Magyar. I pronounce Magyar.
Everyone is just struggling with this.
Because as always, as usual in Italy, everything gets split in half. So you have 50% of the people willing to have Orban again on the power of Hungary. I don't know why they like Orban. And the other half, they actually voted for they hoped for Magyar. So I don't know, because this was really interesting to see when another election to another country gets so well disputed in Italy. I don't really know how to comment on this because I always watch when it comes to European election. I watch other party, other third party of information because I don't really trust the first channel of information because you never know what they might hide, what they might telling the truth or not. So you need to inform by more than other things. And yeah, it was really disputed because, as I said, where I'm from, people don't like Europe, so they supported Orban. They said, "Oh, Orban is great. Is not making his country fall to the corrupted Europe and other corrupted populism and other things." Maybe in the other part, there were a lot of people saying, "Oh, finally Orban is out. We can now finally have some progress in Europe, which was slowed down by the veto power, which I'm actually against, because the veto you either reform it or it's your it's a double-edged sword. You can cut yourself really easily if someone don't want you to progress."
And going back to you, Milan. So Magyar is inaugurating his new government today. Like, what's even if I understand that you've been in Hungary like only for a few months. Like, what is like your expectations? Like, because when it comes to Magyar in Europe, because of course a lot of people just wanted Orban gone. Like it could have been a potted plant. They would have voted for a potted plant as long as it was not Orban. And there's a lot of question mark on actually what Magyar is thinking on Europe and all that. So what's your take on this?
Oh yeah, I can tell a quick anecdote. When Magyar won the elections, someone from a parliament member of one of the Baltic states, not European Parliament, but like the national parliaments, they texted me and they're like, "Oh, congratulations for the liberal prime minister winning,"
Ooh.
basically. And
He's not
I
really
was like,
liberal, no.
yeah. Well, actually, yeah, he's not the classical liberal, but I think that he's more liberal on everything than Orban, I would argue. So
That's not an
it's,
high bar
you
to
can see
to
it that
cross,
way, but yeah, no, he's in a lot of policies. For example, Orban's migration policy. Magyar criticized that he criticized Orban for being too lax on migration, which means quite something, right? Like. Because I think everyone in the EU knows kind of Orban is like this guy who's like taking a very hard stance against like migration, or has been, and Magyar was criticizing him for being too relaxed on that. There have been like, for example, there was I don't want to say anything correct, but there was like, for example, a factory where Orban basically, or Fidesz in extended part, they kicked out the Hungarian workers basically because they didn't want to pay them higher wages, and they just got basically guest workers in there, so people lost their jobs.
Wasn't the thing about the Chinese? There was a whole thing about a Chinese car factory or car battery factory. I remember that at some point in the campaign, there was a whole polemic around like this factory.
Yeah, there was also like this incident with a factory where they were basically I think producing batteries, and that was like polluting the air and everything, and it was
Yes, that was that. Yeah.
They knew about it and they just didn't do anything, and that made people quite mad as well, because everyone is concerned about their health, and if you live next to a factory that's making your life shorter by everyone, if you live next to it, that's not something you appreciate. So people were quite mad about this one as well. And but yeah, generally Magyar is he's still a conservative. He's I would say he's definitely like right wing. Although, for example, during the campaigning for, I don't know if you remember the Pride, Budapest Pride. Yeah, for example, there he didn't endorse it. He didn't say, like, he was very quiet about it. But in interviews, he was saying, and also now in the basically in his final speech when he won on election day, he was saying everyone should live their lives basically freely, and he doesn't want to like interfere with it. Basically, that was what he was saying. He wants a Hungary where everyone can love anyone. So that was his kind of way of telling people, hey, I'm not going to like restrict like LGBTQ rights and everything in that direction. But also not. I mean, he was phrasing it this way because he didn't want to lose any, let's say, like Fidesz voters who might switch to him. So he was trying this like balancing game, basically getting everyone on board. But I think generally we will see like him, even on the EU level, he might as well, in some extent, make some, not necessarily trouble, but he's a nationalist, right? Like he's not a European federalist, so to say, and but he's solid like pro EU, and we will see a change on that. I don't think we will annoy anyone with the veto power anytime soon, hopefully at least. But yeah, I would say he's a right winger. A lot of similar policies of Fidesz will still be in place. He said every policy that Fidesz had that is a good policy, we will keep, and yeah, he's definitely not a left wing liberal, what some people might think from the outside, because I saw a lot of the media saying, "Oh, the liberal candidate won," and "Oh, congratulations!" Like, yeah, not really.
You're in for a rude awakening if you
yeah,
think Magyar is
TISA is the most left wing party in parliament right now. The right wing. There's no left wing party. The Social Democrats got like 1% in the votes. And I think they're dissolving now as well. So yeah, there's like TISA.
On the Socialist Party, like in Hungary, like wasn't there a thing like, are they dissolving because the party is collapsing, or is it because like they don't have MPs because I heard that during the election that you had a lot of liberal and left wing candidate that actually withdraw themselves to give the best chance to the TISO candidate. So what's the situation?
Yeah, the Social Democrats, they didn't withdraw. There was one party, the Momentum Party, let's say the Pan-European Party. They were saying, okay, we will not run these elections because Orban has to go. And the Social Democrats, DK, they still ran. There was like this joke going around basically saying, oh, they have more posters than voters. Because there are posters everywhere, but they got like 1% in the final result. And I think people would have been quite mad with them if TISA would have lost the elections, and it would have depended on basically like the percentage they got. But yeah, there's no left wing party in the parliament, and even like there's like TISA, like right wing, like conservative. Although they're like, I would say they're like quite liberal on some policies. I would hope, and I think that's at least my impression that what will be the case. Then with Fidesz, the far right, pro-Russia, and then there's Mihozang. These are like basically, yeah, I mean, right-wing extremists. Some even call them fascists. So these are the three parties that are in parliament right now. Quite not quite balanced, I would say, but yeah. Hopefully this changes the next legislature, and maybe like a multi-party system can kind of develop, because I don't think TISA will stay this huge.
No, probably I would be surprised. I mean, unless he does a bang-up job and people want more of that. But I think that, as you mentioned, like the priority was like anything but Orban, and give them a strong enough majority, because for those who don't know, in the chat, one of the key thing in the Hungarian election was not only that Orban would lose, but that Magyar and TISO would win the 2/3 majority in the parliament, because that's the majority that is necessary for them to undo a number of policies that Orban had put in the constitution, or what's the name of this? The fundamental laws or something like that. There's a special type of laws that Orban did, and that to undo them, you need a 2/3 majority. So there was a big pressure on this, which led to indeed TISO having the super majority. But yeah, I mean, in the end, for the next election, I guess it's all going to depend on whether or not Magyar actually manages to remove all the policies of Orban that he promised, and then indeed the redevelopment of a pluralist or more pluralist parliament in Hungary. And do you a final question on this, and Iago, feel free to pitch in on this, like, do you think that there will be how can I say a renewal of the political landscape in Hungary, and or are we like kind of condemned to an extent to have for quite some time still Fidesz and TISO being the main components?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I cannot predict the future, but right now we don't even know if Fidesz will basically survive as a party. We don't know how it will go in the next years. We don't know how many of them will maybe go to prison, maybe book a flight to Moscow. We don't know that, right? Because for example, there was this one businessman who how Fidesz was basically doing corruption, was giving like state contracts to specific people, basically to their friends, and one of them was on opposition TV and being interviewed, and he was basically starting to cry and
I heard
pledging.
about that.
Yeah, he was pledging basically a huge part of his like companies to the state and saying, "Oh yeah, I will just give it to the state now." But he was insisting that he didn't do anything wrong, and he was nearly crying. That was quite an interesting show to say. And also, Magyar going on state TV and saying there will be no more state TV, or at least not in this form. I will close this thing down. That was also quite funny to see. Yeah, he's still doing a great job. Like he's everything he says, he like phrases in like a perfect way. Like I cannot explain it. Like he's like just like brand safe, the best PR safe response to any question he gets, everything. He's like phrasing it like in the like safest way possible. That still like takes a position as not just like washed out words. That's quite impressive. But yeah, back to the question, the multi-party system. I think there's a quite real chance for this happening now. Maybe not this legislative, like even not next elections. If TISA does a great job, there might be just like another TISA legislature. If people think, okay, maybe we still need them to fix some things, and people will still vote for them. But I think in the future there's a realistic chance that there might be a multi-party system, and because there are people who lean left, and right now there's no left-leaning party in parliament, so that this will probably change, maybe even already next legislature. And yeah, that's a complete renewal of the political landscape, I would say.
No, for sure. Iago, anything you want to add on that before we move on to the next topic, and to you actually?
No, I think Milana has explained everything correctly. So.
All right. So moving on from Hungary and back to you, Iago. So what's the topic you have for us today?
My topic for today was the removal of the end-to-end encryption by Meta for Instagram, which might sound like a niche thing, like something that really don't matter, but it's the start. It's the little drop of water that actually break the vase. Like the end-to-end encryption is the most important things when it comes to privacy, because it makes possible that only me and the receiver, I send the message, or the receiver or the other people to me, I send the message to me, only we can see the messages. Nobody else can. No, Instagram can't. In Italy, even the police cannot access to the messages. They have to take your phone and then go through, by the password, go through your chats. They cannot ask Meta to send chats. They cannot hack you in some way. So it comes to privacy. And privacy is the future, because now and in the future, it will be even more evident. The new gold is data. The new gold are the data of people, like medic data, preferences for advertisement and other things. So your data is the new gold of tomorrow. And since we Europeans are the ones that care most of privacy, we cannot sleep on this, because the removal of end-to-end encryption on Instagram, which I can tell you, it was made only for unreasonable reason. Like it was, they said it was because nobody was using it. Okay, but
was it an option before? It was not by default?
It was not by default. It was an option. So even that, they made it quite difficult to even access to the end-to-end encryption on Instagram. But the fact is, they said quite only few people use it on Instagram. I understand it, but Instagram has hundreds of millions of users. Millions of users. So when you say few people, what does it mean? 1 million? Because 1 million is not few people. It's a lot of people. It's few for you, but it's not for me. Because, for example, in Sweden, they are 10 million people, and they and I think they use Instagram. So 1 million is a lot for Sweden. Maybe it's not for Instagram. So it's really a point of view on this situation. A point of view we cannot ignore, because now they remove it from Instagram. Tomorrow they remove it from Messenger, because nobody uses messengers, nobody's using it and all things. So what's the next step? We are going to remove the end-to-end encryption on WhatsApp, which is one of the most used way to communicate, platform to communicate in Europe. because if that happened, the consequences will be a disaster. Like, for example, imagine using WhatsApp and they removed the end-to-end encryption in Hungary, for example, when Orban was in power. What would happen? All the political dissidents will be sent to prison. They will be spied on. They will be watched to the messages.
Well, technically, that's what he
There's
was
no
doing
privacy.
already. You had the Pegasus scandal in Hungary, where he was
Yes,
getting his
exactly.
company.
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to privacy, we need to be very careful, because if the end-to-end encryption is our only option for now to be really sure that only we can see the messages, because even company, even our project um, talks talks on Instagram for business matter, okay, for developing a network. I don't want people to see what I'm doing. I don't want external people to spy on what I'm doing. So we need to care about privacy, and that's why we, as Europeans, need to start developing independence. Because when it comes to independence, we think about energy, we think about political independence, military independence, but also social media independence is very important. We need to start developing our social medias. Like, for example, there is now Monet. I don't know if you ever heard about it.
That
It was
vaguely rings a bell.
what?
That rings a bell. I think I've heard about it, but I haven't tested it.
Yes, it's Monet. It's a new app made by a guy, Christoph Flores, I think. I don't want to misspell the name. I'm sorry, but it was that guy from Luxembourg, from yes, from Luxembourg. So it's made by Europeans for Europeans to conserve the privacy, to help feel safe, and we start to invest in these things. We need to develop our social media, our platforms, because we cannot depend on other from companies of other countries to our privacy and other things. Because
No, I get your point, but Milan, what's your take on this? On the question of the end-to-end encryption, and two, the whole debate about in a way like tech sovereignty, social media sovereignty.
Yeah, I mean, end-to-end encryption, I don't think I have to explain why it's bad that it's being removed. I think, I mean, it was still possible to basically intercept it. If a government really tried to do it, they could still get you access basically to you chatting, but they had to like actively say, okay, I want to surveil this person. And now we don't know basically what Instagram is going to do with this data, right? They will just probably harvest everything we write there. So I already moved some of my chats to Signal, although it's also not a European company. It's a lot of people use it, and also politicians. So it's quite safer than Instagram for chatting. But yeah, end-to-end encryption, like removing this is, as Jago already said, it's like the first step, and it might just get worse, because if they remove it from WhatsApp, that's like a enormous thing, and hopefully the EU maybe find some legislation to like restrict these things. Maybe like say, okay, end-to-end encryption should be mandatory for companies who want to have like a chat program in the EU or some other type of encryption, because having no encryption at all.
I mean, you have GDPR already, so that would be probably the extent of it, because I mean that the thing is not encrypted as long as the data is not used. Is not an issue per European law. So technically, there is the at least from my level of understanding, that there is the safeguard that is GDPR. I mean, again, the problem is that you have what you call the network effects. If everyone is using WhatsApp or whatever, even if you don't have a good GDPR protection, people are going to use it because everyone they know are going to be there. And that's the classic thing. But so, sorry, continue, Milan.
Yeah, and regarding tech sovereignty.
Okay. Sorry.
No, go.
Yeah,
Iago, if you wanted
go ahead.
to add something. Iago, you wanted to add something?
No, yes, I just wanted to say, yes, Milan said that maybe Europe can develop some laws. They can sign some laws that can avoid Meta from doing that, and or maybe providing another way to embed the privacy. But what if Meta just say, okay, I want to go out of Europe. They don't like what I'm doing. I don't want to commerce on Europe. Will be, I don't know, out of tools. We don't know where to go. Somebody will go to Signal. Somebody will go to Telegram, which is, as you said, they are not Europeans. So we'll have to rush to make something for Europeans. But when you rush something, you make mistakes. You make something that's it's not quite used. It's not quite very good. So we need to work on it now. We cannot wait for the independence, also for social media and other things. We need to work now, so we can do it slowly, but better. That's what I'm saying. So yes, maybe legislation will get us far, but we need to a layer of cautions to help us in case of the fall. You know, we need to prepare ourselves in cases this doesn't work. For example,
What I would like to add is that, for example, Elon Musk and X or Twitter. I still prefer the name Twitter, to be honest, but although I stopped using it after he took over, I don't know, the platform has went only downhill. It's quite a mess. But yeah, I mean, the EU was able to basically tell them, no, not everything you're doing is okay. And a single country cannot sometimes, let's say, sue a huge company, but together, the EU basically acting on these issues, we saw it in the past, has the chance to basically force them to adapt certain things. Also now with USB-C, for example, Apple couldn't just say, okay, I mean, if one country basically tried to force Apple to adapt this wouldn't have it wouldn't have went anywhere. But on an EU level, because the market is so huge, we were able to basically tell them, hey, this is.
I mean, on Apple, I would
something you should do.
I would argue that Apple actually kind of won the battle on the USB-C. Because I'll explain why. I'm a lobbyist, so I see that from a lobbying perspective. For me, they won kind of the battle because they managed to delay by 10 years something that was inevitable. So that's 10 years ago, there was the push to create what is now the USB-C, so having the single universal kind of charger, and Apple managed to delay the process time and time again, even if they knew that there was going to be a universal charger. But every year that they were managing to postpone, for them that was billions of dollars of profits, because they could sell their Apple thing. So I would argue that the fact that it took 10 years for the universal charger to come to become a thing makes it an Apple victory, because they managed to delay what was an inevitable defeat. So that's why I'm a bit more nuanced on the idea that the universal charger was an absolute defeat for Apple. Yes, it was a defeat for Apple, but not as much as people believe, actually.
Yeah, although I think it's quite common with EU legislation that it takes some time to do anything. But if you finally decide on something, if the EU finally decides on something, then it stays like this. And it's not that like it just can't go away over the next years. It's very
Yeah,
difficult
of course.
to like
No,
basically
on that I agree.
reverse
No,
something.
of course.
And so it's like obviously like in the future, like a very like sustainable thing. This will we will have this for the next 10, 20 years, as long as the EU exists, probably. And the process that it was quite this long, I didn't know that. I didn't do like much looking into like this specific
No
issue.
problem.
But yeah, I mean, in the end, we still managed to like get it, and now it's implemented. So yeah, maybe we should try to find some way to speed up these things. But that's 10 years. Wow, that's quite a lot of time.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the negotiation of the law that took 10 years, it's just the entire process. I mean, it was a very long thing because initially the commission said, okay, it would be nice if voluntarily companies did a universal charger. Most companies said, okay, we're going to do something. So, like, I don't remember the exact figures, but like we went from something like way back in the day. You have to imagine that every single phone company had its own charger. So you had like something like 20 different chargers, and it went down from 20 to like maybe 5. With Apple still refusing to do things, and then there was a second round, and it ended up being like just Apple blocking, and that's the moment where the commission said, okay, fine, we try to play nice. Now we're going to do the law, and it took a further few years, etc. So 10 years is the entire process, like from the moment the commission said, okay, it would be nice to have something universal to the actual law being adopted. So it's not like there was not like 10 years of negotiation of the law, which indeed would be long, even by EU standards. Because normally, like a law, a European law, it takes like 1 year and a half to 2 years of negotiation for it to become to actually be adopted, which is long, arguably, but like it's not 10 years. It's quite exceptional. But otherwise, like it's true, like you mentioned, like the case of X or Twitter. I agree. I still call it Twitter. I will call it Twitter to the end of my days. At this stage, I'm still present on Twitter. Like I'm still very active on Twitter because I mean, it's still de facto one of the most used platform for politics. Still today, even if LinkedIn now is becoming more and more important, which is a problem because I don't like LinkedIn. But anyway, and I remember maybe when Elon Musk took over X or Twitter, you had this big move. Oh yes, we're going to all abandon Twitter. We're gonna go on Blue Sky. We're gonna go on Mastodon. We're gonna go on 10 different kind of platforms. And in the end, I don't think it worked quite well, and even had like possibly some side effects. So like I said, I kept my X account. I'm still very active on X, but I opened like on Blue Sky, on Threads, and on Mastodon. And notably Mastodon, like people were saying, oh yeah, Mastodon is going to be the next big thing. It's European, it's decentralized and everything. I went on Mastodon, and after a month I stopped. Because the thing is just like terrible UI wise. Like in terms of communication, it's a pain in the ass because you have to be on 10 different communities to be to get your message through, etc. So like I feel that Mastodon kind of the hype of a Mastodon was very short. I don't know if you are you on Mastodon on your side now, or did you go on it?
I tried. Like I mean, I was like, I downloaded the app. I didn't have much time, and I wanted to just like quickly set up like an account. And yeah, I think it's quite difficult for like the average like consumer to basically do something there. And even though, if let's say the average person says, "Oh, I care about my data," they're still not willing to go through like a, let's say, longer process to like set up an account or understand how like this platform works, because they just want to like download the app, make an account, and start posting. And I mean, I should probably do it. Like I started the process of like creating an account, but I never like finalized it. I think I created it, but I just like didn't understand how the platform worked, so I didn't use it.
So I made the account. I used it a bit, but like the problem is that, or the problem, the thing is that the philosophy of the platform is so basically the opposite of the platforms that we are used to, because it's a decentralized kind of thing. It goes completely against all the habits that we have on social media. And so, especially if you are someone like us, and we are content creators, we want our message to be spread as wide as possible. And for objectives like that, Mastodon is actually very difficult, because on the contrary, they keep everything siloed constantly, which is something that is done like for data protection and privacy concerns. But for like content creators like us, like it's a nightmare, because like the platform is actively limiting the audience that you can have. So you have to demultiply things. And like I said, after a month, I stopped, because like I just didn't click, the platform simply didn't click with me, and I felt like if I wanted to make it work, like it was a bit like what you said, Milan, like the amount of effort that I would have to put into it to get into like the culture of that social media was like way too much. I say, okay, that's too much of a hassle. I'm just going to do something else. And so yeah, I abandoned the Mastodon. And the other thing that people were confronted to, and when they did the migration, was the fact that you have to start from scratch. Like you have to recreate an account, and you're back at zero followers, zero following people, and you have to rebuild the thing from scratch, and that's very frustrating. And actually, the one platform that did it well, but there's a reason for that, is Threads. I don't know if you're on it. Thread is allows you to export your followers from Instagram, meaning that you create if you create a Thread account, it will compare that with anyone who was coming from Instagram, and automatically follow the people who follow you on Instagram will automatically follow you on Thread. So you have an interoperability of the follower list, but it's possible because both are owned by Meta. Threads and Instagram are Meta platforms. So of course they can just like have the copy paste kind of the follower list, but that brings the question of the interoperability of platform, because yeah, again, like users don't want to go through the hassle of starting back from zero if they have spent especially years building up a following and having their friends being on that platform or that platform. And there is I think there is an attempt at interoperability at EU level through the DMA. Was it DMA? Yeah, I think it's DMA, the Digital Markets Act, that forces at least messaging apps like WhatsApp, Signal, etc., to have some level of interoperability. But like on social media, you can get in my opinion, like you can get rid of the network effect only if you can manage somehow to have this sort of interoperability of the follower list and stuff like, because otherwise like people don't want to bother like restarting from zero and relearning a new method of posting and everything. So I don't know if like you experience like the frustration of having to restart from scratch on a new platform, and how you dealt with it and all that.
I mean, oh yeah, go ahead.
Iago, you want to start on this or?
Yeah, it's the same from me. Personally, no, I never had to restart from the scratch from an app to another, because since we are a recent project, we started on Instagram. Yeah, we have to restart on TikTok, because we have an account on TikTok. We have to restart it, and it gets really slowly at first, especially because when you start, maybe the algorithm boosts your post, so you grow a little in the initial phase. But when you have to restart from old account or in other paths, it's quite difficult, because when you change the app, you need to know how the algorithm of that app works. You need to study it. You need to practice on it, but it's never like it's quite simple. In fact, before you mentioned the migration from Twitter, because when Elon Musk took Twitter and became X, everybody said, "Okay, no, we are going to go away," and they thought that Threads, as you mentioned, was going to be the new Twitter.
Mm.
This didn't really happen, in my opinion. It also, yes, there was migration on the first step. People tried to go there, over here, over there, but quite nobody actually left except for another app, because as you said, restarting from the scratch, it's not that simple, especially for a content creator, because unless you want to lose everything, because it's a gamble. When you want to restart, it's a gamble. You have everything to lose in that moment, and you're not quite sure you're going to make it on the other app. So it's very difficult. So that's why I said we need to start now to develop some new startups where they can get the funds from European. I think now they made it more simple for startups in Europe since they get the 28 regime.
They made a proposal. Like the law is not adopted and everything, and there's a lot of debate around it. So it's gonna take I think a couple of years before EU Inc. Is adopted as a law. So, and then you have to be implemented. So I think that EU Inc. So the new EU startup kind of regime.
Yes, yes.
That's not going to be a thing before 5 years, basically.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for the correction. But yes, we really need some things that help people developing its startup in Europe, because we need to have a layer to approach in case of the fall, in case we need to migrate. We need a place to stay. We need a place, because I actually talked about this with my other co-founder by saying that maybe we should try to get along with other apps, publish something, be present in every different social media. So in case we have to start,
you have a backup.
We already have a few steps ahead. But it's very difficult because, again, when you have to study, work for politics, work in general, and other things, the time is limited. So, yes, that's a problem. Yeah.
All right. Anything one wants to add on this topic in particular?
Yeah, recently there's like a new platform. I think it's also like a Twitter alternative that launched. It's called EU. I don't know if you've seen it. I think it's by a Romanian company, by a Romanian startup. They just launched like a week ago, and it's like again I think it's like the 10th like different Twitter alternative I've like witnessed now. So let's see how that goes, because like I feel like there are right now like at least like 10 different platforms that basically want to do the same thing as Twitter. And they just recently launched, and I just wanted to mention that so people maybe can like check out how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, again, the as you mentioned, like there's like 10, 15 different alternative to Twitter. The question is like which one people will decide to go on and also adhere to, because like you also have the platform cultures. The platform culture, like is it something that people like react well to? There's also the technical capacity. Like, are you on Blue Sky? No. So Blue Sky was also.
I wanted to create an account, but I just don't have the time to create like 10 accounts on different social medias and manage them. Always post when I post something on my main account, then I post it also on like the 10 different platforms. It's too much effort, and I don't have any followers there, so I would have to start from scratch, as you said. And it's just like the time investment versus the reward is probably, it's going to take some time or not even going to be there at all. So yeah.
Yeah, and also you have sometimes like functionalities that don't exist. Like for instance, like Blue Sky so I got on Blue Sky I created an account on Blue Sky initially, and you had functionalities that were like common on Twitter or elsewhere, like embedding a video, being able to put a video in your post that's something you could not do on Blue Sky. So that meant that if you had content, that's not my case, but if you had content that was you were making a short or a TikTok or whatever, you could not like do it easily on Blue Sky because that functionality was not working, or you have different character limits, you have a different system, and indeed you have to constantly juggle with 10 different methods, and as you were saying, and then you have the time investment versus potential reward, and in the end, sometimes you have to make choices on where you can be present, especially if you are like a one person, like me, I'm on my own. Milan, you seem to be on your own. Or Iago, you seem to have a bit more people maybe to help you out and manage. But 2 people, well, that's twice as us. That's twice the manpower compared to us. So yeah, in the end, you end up having to make choices and potentially restricting yourself. And in the end, especially as content creators, you go where the public is. Whether you like it or not, and that's why I kept the account on X, because I don't like Elon Musk, but that's where the audience is, that's where people are, that's where my following is, and so yeah, I keep and I have to say, like, there are quite a few like functionalities that I like on Twitter/X, and yeah, so that's why I'm still very active on X today. So yeah. Anything else? Nope. And to finish, Milan, I think you had another topic for us.
Yeah, Germany has apparently overtaken the United States in ammunition production. That was I did not like have this on my radar at all that this would like happen, and then just like suddenly this news like popped up in like my feed, and I was like, wait a second, what? Because the CEO of the Rheinmetall made a statement saying that yeah, basically Germany can produce more ammunition now than the United States.
But what type of ammunition?
I think it was not specified, but it was like general, like wait, I have the article open here. Yeah, just like artillery rounds. Like,
yeah, okay. So
yeah,
150, 155.
yeah. Mostly like artillery, I think. But yeah, this is it just really surprised me. It was like that just came out of nowhere, kind of. Although we have seen like over the past years, they like every European country is stepping up in like the production as well. That just because of Ukraine, we just need a lot of like artillery to give to them. So it makes sense, right? But just like one country, and the US, I mean, they don't need as much artillery. At least right now, they're mostly like using different ammunition. So maybe it makes sense in that aspect.
Like if we're talking about artillery shells, okay, I can see it because like the US is producing more missiles. Like that's kind of their thing. So and they're doing things that we in Europe we simply can't do. Cruise missiles, we don't have that many countries knowing how to make cruise missiles. That sort of thing. But indeed, with the pressure of the war in Ukraine, there's been like a big push to increase the production of 155 artillery shells. But I mean, the interesting bit is not necessarily to compare with the US, would be to compare with Russia, because they're the ones who produce like a shit ton of things. Like a few years ago, I don't know, a few years, like maybe a couple of years ago. Well, yeah, a couple of years ago, like there was this big focus on artillery because it was like before like drones were becoming like the thing on the Ukraine battlefield. Like before, it was still like artillery battles, and the statistics there was like so I know the stat for the French level. So Russia was in average shooting 10 to 15,000 artillery shells per day on Ukraine. Ukraine was shooting like maybe half of that, so between 5 and 7,000 per day. And the French production of artillery shells, so France being like arguably also like a big military industry, like Germany, like France was producing less that by the end of 2024 was producing like 5,000 shells per month. So every single day, Russia was shooting the equivalent of 2 months of French production of artillery shells, which even if like it was like much more than before, because in 2022 at the start of the war, like France was producing maybe like 2,000 shells per month. So there was like already a big increase on the production, but it's still like nowhere near like the kind of consumption that you have in an actual war like in Ukraine. So even if like we are catching up and now Germany is producing potentially more artillery shells than the US, I'm still afraid we are pretty far behind when it comes to the consumption on in a war in the type of Ukraine. I don't know, Iago, what you think about that, but still a few ways to progress.
I think this war, which is a tremendous war, I really hate seeing my courageous people, courageous guy dying like that for the mistakes of a dictator. It's really sad. But I also think that this was a slap in the face for all the European countries
Yep.
that we will remember in the future. Because the invasion of Ukraine and the quite the stall we saw from the European Union on decision making was a real slap in the face, because it said we need to actually reform now. We have waited for so long. We saw the effect of our stall, and now that we are also talking about a united army, that we can no longer, because we have a second slap in the face, which was Trump getting in power and saying, "Oh, I'm going to not protect Europe anymore." He also said recently he wants to withdraw the troop on European soil, and that's a second slap in the face, because we need to build our army. Now, Germany took over the production of shells, which is good news, because we start finally to improve our army, but also there's still work in progress, because yes, Germany is producing more, but for Germany only. Maybe it will trade with other countries, but we still don't have all the resources that we produce for ourselves. We need to sell it away. So maybe one day we have an army that can let people specialize in some production. Germany in shells and maybe tanks. Italy in troops. France with nuclear power. Now that even Macron, if I'm not wrong, said that he wants to expand the nuclear umbrella all over.
To an extent, yes.
Extend all over Europe, and I think that's a good thing. But also, we cannot sleep on Ukraine. We need Ukraine in the European Union, because Ukraine was left at for all the time in the war. Everybody said, "No, Ukraine is doomed. No, Ukraine will lose the war." Ukraine has resisted with his man force and our help, yes, with the weapon, but with his men's. Ukraine alone withstand the second most powerful country in the world. And even though they had to fight with everything they had, they also managed to develop new way of warfare. And they also developed so much in the drone wars that they will actually be a drone power. Even they are now signing contract with countries like the Arab Emirates, also Oman, also with the Saudi Arabia. They are signing contracts to sell their drones, to sell their production of drones. We cannot sleep on this. We need Ukraine into the EU. We need Ukraine into NATO because we need their support. They are a pot of gold because for now the only ones interested that are actually going to get a part of Ukraine because they are dividing Ukraine in parts. They are buying some parts of Ukraine are only the Americans, the Russians that say, "Oh yes, we have conquered this country, we will have them," and other countries. They all see Ukraine only as a pot of gold that they can drag some money out of it. We cannot let this happen. We need to fight for our brothers, our sisters in Ukraine. We need to let them in our group, in our federation, and because they will be the future.
Yeah,
in a
I mean,
war.
that's the whole debate on the entry of Ukraine inside the EU. You're perfectly right that indeed, like Ukraine, when the war will over, will be like arguably one of the most powerful military in Europe. Basically, apart from the nukes, they're pretty much like a huge power now in Europe because of their drone capabilities. And actually, like you mentioned that indeed Ukraine is signing contracts with the Middle East for drones, but the Americans also the Americans are negotiating deals so that the Ukraine drone operators train American troops in drone warfare, and like Ukraine is going to be like a huge source of know-how for the next wars and everything. So indeed, there's going to be like a big role for Ukraine when it comes to European security in the future. But that's on military. Then you have a lot of other dimensions that make the challenges that make the Ukrainian candidacy complicated, like typically on agriculture, on regional funds, etc., etc. So, I mean, okay, I will ask you the question and then I will tell my view. But assuming that Ukraine joins the EU, when do you think they will join? Go ahead, any of you, like 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, like what's your take?
Yes.
What do you think?
I think it
I
might
think
be like
as soon as the
just talk. Go ahead.
Yeah, go. How many years?
yeah, sorry. Yeah, I think as soon as the war ends, they will try to get in the EU for sure. But we need to see when the war ends and how it ends. Because in the worst case, they will have a government that doesn't like the EU. In the best case, they will try to join the EU, but they have to reform everything. In the beginning, they have to. They have a lot of diplomacy to do before entering the EU. So maybe yes, I might say 5 to 7 years.
Okay, 5 to 7. Milan?
At least 10, I think. And I mean, it's we all wish it would probably go faster and that they have some chance. But if you want to join the EU, you have to follow the requirements to join the EU. You have to make the reforms to join the EU. And if you don't do it, you can join. And I don't think we should make it like, let's say, we shouldn't like be lenient on the requirements to join, because you have to fulfill the requirements. You can like try to speed up the process of, let's say, making it like faster, like the bureaucracy behind it faster, but the requirements shouldn't change. And I don't think Ukraine will like be able to like fulfill these requirements in anytime soon, unfortunately. And I think it's at least 10 years, 2035, 2040, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Milan on this one. Like, I don't see like 10 to 15 years. I would say no shorter than 10 to 15 years, because like Iago said, you need the war to end. So like the starting point can only be like the end of the war. So that's, I think everyone agrees with this. But then, I mean, you will have the reconstruction, you have all the reforms they have to do. And I agree with Milan that even if we want to support the Ukrainians as much as possible and to get them on the way to join Europe, like you can't sacrifice the requirements. That the requirements are there for a reason, because, for instance, like you don't want a repeat of the Hungarian scenario, typically. So there's a whole debate on whether or not they should have a veto or something like that. But then also, like I mentioned, like you have all the challenges, the impacts. Like the problem is that Ukraine is not Moldova. It's not Iceland. Like Ukraine joining the EU will have a huge impact just because of the size of the country. Just because of the size of the country, it will have a huge impact because of the size of its agriculture, etc. And so you would have like a lot of reforms internally of the EU to be done to be able to digest it, and also to make it politically feasible. Because it's one thing, like for us to agree, yes, Ukraine should be in the EU, but yeah, you have to convince the public opinion. And in a number of countries, I don't know like how it is in Germany or in Italy, but in France, for instance, you would probably have a referendum on the adhesion of Ukraine. And if you were to have this referendum today, or with all the caveats because the war is ongoing, etc., I'm not sure you would have a majority for Ukraine joining the EU in France. People, in principle, are supportive, but they have a lot of doubts, and I think it will take quite a lot of time to build up this political acceptability even within Europe, aside from the efforts that and the reforms that Ukraine must do. So I don't know what. Milan, you're both German and Hungarian. Like maybe on the German side, like what's the vision like of Ukraine? What's the opinion? Like, are people rather supportive of Ukraine joining the EU, or are they skeptical? Like, what's your take?
I saw some polls recently. I don't remember how exactly they looked, but I think it's like rather supportive of Ukraine joining in general, I think. Although I would have to look up the exact numbers to check what the current opinions are on this. But I think people are generally like more supportive of Ukraine joining. But yeah, it's not like a 90% approval of this happening. So yeah, it's like rather like a 50-50. And I think it's like mostly like this in like most EU countries, I assume.
And in Hungary, like it's even worse, because like you know that Orban made a whole thing about the opposition to Ukraine joining, like the key of his campaign. But and Magyar, I think, promised that. If I recall correctly, he did not say anything about his own position on Ukraine, but he did say that he would put a referendum on the issue. So, like, stop him if I'm wrong. That was my understanding of what Magyar was saying.
Yes, he said it would come to a referendum, and also he's not in favor of speeding up the process. For example, what was like in a room like a few weeks ago, I think it was discussed to like maybe speed it up, but he's against this, and he said it should be a referendum to decide on what should happen.
But in Italy, what's the view?
I think in Italy, most of the people support Ukraine. Also, most of the party support Ukraine. But yes, we will have a very fought referendum on it, because many parties are also involved with Russia meddling the inside politics. We have a journalist research on this, because there are parties that take funds from Russia and to promote. It's quite difficult. I cannot say much, because it's only a few voices saying that, but we have really we have some proofs that actually say that Russia is meddling something in our politics, because party from the left to the right, they which they supported Putin. Now, after the invasion, they supported Ukraine, but now they are saying that, yeah, okay, the invasion is bad, but Ukraine it doesn't deserve to be in the EU and other things, which it's unreasonable for me. Ukraine has always been a European country. It has every right to be into the EU. And the only thing that somebody might say they don't want Ukraine is because they are pro-Russian. But it's not. Yeah, I don't think how it will really go in Italy. Maybe maybe the part pro-Ukraine will win, but it will be really fought, this referendum.
Yeah, no, that I have no doubt, and I think that to an extent, like, so you just you were mentioning that, like, and you may have heard, like, the Ukrainians were pushing for the accelerated timeline for the adhesion of Ukraine. They wanted, oh yes, we want Ukraine to join the EU like in 2027 already. They said, oh yeah, next year we're going to join the EU, which is absolutely impossible. Like, everybody knows that, and I think actually it was like a bit like counterproductive, because it was creating anxiety, because Zelensky was going all around. Oh, I also understand, like, it's also for the Ukraine context, because he wants to support the morale of Ukrainians, giving them like a perspective. Yeah, look, we're going to join soon the EU, etc. So I understand like the Ukraine perspective, but I think it was like counterproductive, because it was creating anxiety within the public opinion in Europe, because people were suddenly being told, oh yeah, Ukraine is going to join next year, and like people were like, what the fuck? I mean, the war is still ongoing. The country is there's still a ton of corruption. What are you going to do? And I think like that was kind of like counterproductive to insist constantly on, yes, we're going to join into 1 year, 2 year in the EU, while like everybody is telling them, and everybody is saying, no, you can't. You simply can't. It's not doable.
Yes, I want to add a little things.
Yeah, go
That's
ahead.
exactly why the referendum will be very divided as the result. Because the first thing I said in the beginning, the first thing we need for Ukraine to join the EU is the war to end. Because otherwise, people will not accept it. Because people will fear that we have to intervene in the war, and they will vote against it.
Yeah, even objective. I mean, there's no even precedent. Like, we don't have a precedent of a country joining the EU while it is in an active war. Or some may point to the example of Cyprus, because Cyprus technically is still in conflict with Turkey. I mean, Turkey doesn't recognize Cyprus. There's a whole thing about Cyprus, but we don't have an active war ongoing anywhere in the European territory. So even if we wanted, there's no precedent. There's simply no precedent for this, and nobody wants to create that precedent, because then you pose the question: if we are getting Ukraine joining the EU while the war is still active, what does that mean? Does that mean that we are also at war with Russia, which nobody wants? So I think that is, like I said, it's creating a ton of needless anxiety and things that are like simply objectively not possible. We don't know how to manage with this sort of thing. What's your view, Milan?
Yeah, I mean, what you already said, it's just not realistic at all. Like, there's like no possibility that this will happen like the next like 3-5 years. There's like no chance that's going to happen. But I believe strongly that Ukraine can still be a great ally to the EU without being in the EU. It's like that doesn't mean anything, right? It's just about the EU membership, which they have to fulfill everything for. But we can still trade with Ukraine. We can still like find a lot of like make a lot of agreements with them for things. So there's like, we're not restricted in any way because Ukraine is not in the EU, right? We can still find a solution to everything with them, and they're great allies still with or without EU membership. So I don't think that's like something we have to like say, okay, we have to say that they should be in the EU in the next 3 years just because we are, let's say, allied with them. Because as you stated as well, like it's about the requirements, and you cannot make the reforms to, for example, combat corruption. And you mentioned also the example of Cyprus. The thing with Cyprus is that Turkey is not really opposed to EU membership of Cyprus. I think they're like rather like they don't care about it. I think because
wait, because Cyprus, that's
doesn't
the
have
tricky part. Turkey does not even recognize Cyprus.
Yes, but I don't think they would. For example, with when I'm talking about, let's say there's also, for example, Georgia. They also have occupied territories.
Yep.
Russia is occupying them, and if Georgia would try to join the EU, there's a chance that Russia would try to do something. But with Cyprus, I don't think Turkey, for example, there was really like they didn't care about it, right? Because there's like it doesn't have an effect on Turkey itself. Not that much that they would need to care because it's an island. There's no like military like disadvantage or anything. That it's like that they would like start basically an invasion of southern Cyprus because they basically joined the EU.
Well,
That's
actually, the example of Cyprus is a bit complicated because the irony is that Cyprus is still divided today. Back when Cyprus applied to join the EU, the plan was for Cyprus to not be divided anymore. Like initially, one of the conditions for Cyprus to join the EU was that they would make a deal to reunite the island. And so you had an entire like discussion process between the north and south of Cyprus to put an end to the war, to the conflict, and reunite the island. And that was kind of the condition for them to join the EU. There was an agreement that was found. So there was an agreement for reunification between North and the Republic of Cyprus. So the Europeans were like, "Oh, great! So we can go ahead with the adhesion." The problem is that when there was a referendum for the acceptance of that deal, Northern Cyprus voted in favor, but South Cyprus voted against, which is something that the Europeans had not planned. They were not imagining that the Cypriots would vote against it, and so they had already advanced with the adhesion of Cyprus. And so, what was meant to be like a temporary system, like given that Northern Cyprus was still occupied, etc., they had to turn it into a permanent thing because, well, actually, the Cypriots said, "Well, actually, we don't want to be reunited under these conditions," and that's it's a bit of an accident of history that Cyprus is still divided. After joining the EU, because initially the plan was for Cyprus to be reunited, for them to join the EU. So even the comparison with Cyprus has its own complexities because initially Europe didn't wanted a divided country to join them. So that's one of the weird thing that happened with Cyprus. But well, now that we have that precedent and who knows what will happen in the future? But yeah. What else? Anything you want to add on Ukraine or on any other topic? Because I'm looking at the time. We are like well above the 1 hour and a half I promised you. So up to you. Like, is there another thing that you want to discuss, or you have to get going? Up to you. I'm happy to stay. It's really up to you. I'm streaming until noon. So,
I mean, regarding Ukraine and EU membership, the one thing that we have in the EU, at least on paper, is Article 42.7, the defense clause, which on paper at least is phrased in a stronger way than NATO Article 5, but in reality, at least the phrasing of like how it's worded, it's in my view, it's like more like direct of like military support than Article 5 of NATO, because Article 5 kind of allows you to, let's say, not necessarily like send soldiers and these type of things. But
I mean,
what I'm trying,
continue.
I will look it up because Article.
No, I know there is this whole argument on whether Article 5 or Article 42. So 42.7 is the mutual assistance clause of the EU treaties. There's a whole legal debate on which one is stronger. There's a whole debate on it. I tend to say that it doesn't really matter. because in the end, like both Article 5 and 42.7 are actually like in the end political decisions. It's a political decision, and I would argue that if it ever came to like an armed invasion of a EU member state, like it doesn't really matter the interpretation of 42.7 because it's either you go help your allies or Europe then doesn't matter. Like, what's the point of saying, yeah, we are doing the European Union, we're all allies and everything, if when one of your members is being invaded, you're not going to say, oh, well, good luck, guys. Like, for me, it's an existential issue. So we can argue about the legalities. Politically, it's going to be either we want the EU to survive, let's say, as a project, and then you have to go, or you can already bury the EU. It doesn't have any point at that stage. So ultimately, for me, it's a theoretical discussion, like the Article 5 versus Article 42.7. Even if I agree with you that for now, 42.7 is only something that exists on paper. Like, we have this. Okay, that's nice. We have no clue how it would work in practice, and that's one of the things that the Europeans are trying to sort of or solve. Let's say it like that. I don't know what's your take.
I mean, it's kind of it sets the direction where we could go, right? We have this already enshrined in law, and now we could follow up on it and basically implement things to like support this. If there's like the political will to follow up on this, like with like maybe a European army, or at least one thing that I'm like really concerned about is a standardization of ammunitions and like repair kits, these kind of things, because right now we have the issue of the like like all the different armies having like different calibers. For example, the Finns use the same ammunition as the Russians to some extent, because in their mind, okay, we can just take it from the dead Russian soldiers' ammunition, so we don't run out of ammo. But for example, Germany and France use different calibers, right, for like the standard rifles and also armored vehicles and ammunition these use, and artillery and tank shells and everything basically. And I think in this area there should be some standardization. And coming back to Article 42.7, I mean, it says by all means in their power, which is quite a strong wording. And I think we could like set this as like the like founding stone of like some like European framework for defense, maybe either like a wing in NATO, like a European wing in NATO, or like something entirely different.
Yeah. I mean, I'll start by the end. Iago, feel free to pitch in if you want. But like on that last part, on the link to NATO, 42.7 does refer to NATO. It does say, okay, we have the mutual defense clause, and that assistance can be provided through NATO for those who are a member of it. So there is already a built-in link with NATO, and I would argue that is just like, to a good extent, 42.7 is the European wing of NATO, basically, to an extent, or even if not all members of the EU are members of NATO, that's why you have 42.7, etc., etc. And you have also the issue of the neutral countries. So in 42.7, you also have like a reference saying all this must be done in respect of the national, I don't remember the exact wording, but like the national approach on security and defense, which is basically a reference to the neutral countries, Ireland, Austria, and Malta. Cyprus is not neutral. They're not members of NATO, but they're not neutral. But yeah, you have countries that are neutral, and so yeah, that creates also issues for them, because you ask the Irish about the European defense. They say, yeah, okay, great if Europe can defend itself, but I'm a neutral country. I don't want to go to war to anyone because of a clause in a EU treaty. So you also have to balance the fact that some countries have decided, for whatever reason, that they are neutral countries, and that's how you need to deal with it. But Iago, what do you think?
I think that now NATO is the most important organism we need for our defense. But unfortunately, we saw in recent times we cannot only depend on NATO. We need to build something more near Europe. As Milan said, we need to build a European army because, yeah, I understand some countries might be neutral. They want to stay neutral, but you can't stay neutral on your defense. You need to need to be willing to participate at least in defense of your own country with your neighbors. Because yes, Ireland wants to stay neutral, Malta wants to stay neutral too, but at least when it comes to your defense, everybody should get involved in something European centric, something that only aims to Europe, to its defense, a European wing of NATO. But yes, I actually think that besides developing something European, we should also develop more something like NATO, which groups together also other states around the world. Because the more you defend yourself, the more secure you are. But
You mean outside
yes.
current members of NATO, or just
Yes,
non?
yes, we should have also as NATO, but also we should have some deals with other countries for defense on system only. I want defense only to other countries outside Europe that can help to defend from threats. Maybe because since we are now in the era of missiles that can reach the other parts of the earth, you need to have someone near any trends that can intervene faster than you. So that's why I think having friends around the world that can actually help you to defend from near threats is something we need to think as Europeans, besides developing something European centric. That's it.
I know there are European security agreements with some non-European countries, like I think like Japan, Canada. Well, Canada is a NATO member, so that doesn't matter. But with Japan, Australia, I think there's also like a deal. But I'm not certain like what exactly is included in this like kind of security and defense agreement, because also the problem is that defense is only it's not really a strong European policy. Like it's mostly a national policy for good and for good and wrong reasons. But they are indeed like there is an international dimension to cooperation on defense with non-European countries. But and yeah, one final thing I want you to come back to on something that you said, Milan, on the idea of standardization. To an extent, that's something that already exists, because NATO, one of the key things that they do is standardization. They work a lot on interoperability of things, and I know that there was at some point like some tensions between NATO and the EU, because the EU wanted to go into the field of standardization, like as you mentioned, and NATO was like, yeah, wait, that's already something we're doing, so like, why are you doing something that we're already doing? You're just going to create confusion, etc., etc. So I do think like on a number of things, like for the calibers of bullets and everything, it's NATO standards. So technically, like if you're shooting a bullet from a French gun or from a German gun, assuming it's the same caliber, both are intercompatible because it's all NATO standards. At least on the ammunition, like on weapon system, like a tank and stuff like that, then every country has its own method. But for ammunition, I think it's built in to have like common standards, so that indeed, like if a friend is sending ammunition to Germany, well, it would be nice if that worked on German weapons as well. But I think that's how it works.
Yeah, like on small arms like rifles, there's like a lot of standardization already implemented,
Yep.
but especially in the department of like replacement parts, like spare parts for like vehicles, which is going to be a huge issue if we like wait, there's like a full out like land war against Russia at some point. We need to repair vehicles, and if you're like stuck in another country right now and you with like your battalion or your tank battalion or something, and then you basically need replacement parts, and you have to like get them to order them from Germany. Because the other like tank like EU or NATO tank divisions around you, they are all different like spare parts for their own vehicles. This is going to be a huge logistical issue. So that's something that should be like also addressed, and I don't think that's currently the state. At least that's what my impression is from what I've heard from like German military officials saying.
That's fair. Iago, anything you want to add or another topic? Otherwise, we can I can slowly free you because it's 11:30. I don't want to take you any longer than you need.
No, I don't have any special comments on this things.
All right. So let's conclude then. So thanks again, Iago, Milan, for coming to participate to this Eurobubble therapy. I hope that you enjoyed the discussion. Do you want to shout yourself out? Tell people where they can find you, your projects and everything. Iago, tell people where they can find you.
We can find you. You can find us on Instagram, on TikTok, on Monet. We have a profile which is not active for now, but when we reach maybe 10,000 followers, we are going to also switch up and start posting also to European centric platforms. And yes, for now, that's it. But maybe in the future, we also have a YouTube channel, and maybe if we can do that, also a podcast.
Okay,
who knows?
Right. Milan, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram as European Propaganda Agency, and I'm also active at weareeurope.eu. And also, I'm currently working on establishing the Hungarian branch of We Are Europe. It's weareeurope.who on Instagram and also other social media platforms. And that's what I'm going to do in like the next few hours, handing out some stickers with advertisements for the new branch of We Are Europe.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, guys, for coming over. I hope again that you liked it. Chat. Do thank our guests and stay with us stay with me because I'm continuing to stream. Iago, Milan, I wish you both of you a very good Europe Day. Enjoy, Milan, the inauguration of Magyar's new government, and hope to see you next time somewhere, either here or on one of your own platforms. Have a good one, guys. See you next time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Happy Europe Day.
Happy Europe Day.
See you. All right, chat. Let me finish the call with the others. Tac. Voilà, that's done. Yes, quitter la page. All right, I'm all yours. Impressions. What do we think? I saw in the chat like we had someone with strong opinions on Ukraine and wrong opinions. I mean, wrong in the sense that they were not even accurate information. Like for the guy saying, Ukraine is losing twice the amount of soldiers as Russia. No, you have it the other way around. Russia is losing twice the number of troops as Ukraine. So yeah, you know me. Normally I'm tolerant, but at some point like the spam gets on my nerve. So yeah, it was a bit of a troll at the end of it. So I put him in a timeout. Yeah. Well, I mean, we managed. We managed. So yeah, that's it for the not for the stream. Stay here. We're continuing the stream. Both for the Eurobubble therapy. It's been a while since we had Eurobubble therapy. I hope I will be able. I mean, I hope that's up to me. But I want to have it more like maybe once every 2 months. We do Eurobubble therapy where I invite like a couple of creators to talk, as you see, about current news, their projects, and everything. Chad, did you know already Last Call Europe or European Propaganda Agency, or was it like the first time you were hearing about their projects? They're mostly, they're not on Twitch, and they are on Instagram and stuff like that. But just out of curiosity, if there were already projects you had heard about or not. You knew both? Okay, cool. Cool. So next up, so we had the serious discussions. Now we're going to go into something much more light. First time, I don't know many influencers on the EU. Yeah, it's true that it's a small pack, and it's mostly of a federalist pack. What was I saying? So next on the program, we're going to chill very much because we're going to look at memes. We're going to look at memes. I wanted to try that format for a while, and so we're going to try it now. We're going to look at memes about the EU and what is funny. Why is EU humor funny? I had someone, not far right federalist, no, not far right federalist, indeed. So I asked someone, Citoyen Européen, shout out to Citoyen Européen, who is administrator and moderator of the subreddit Europe, which is a subreddit that does a lot of EU memes. So I asked him to compile for me memes about the EU that I don't know them. I didn't look at them. I looked at them because I had to put them into the browser, but I just did copy paste. I didn't look in detail. So we will look together at these memes, see do we understand them? Are they funny? Are they not funny? And also I will try to also bring some actual substance, saying, okay, what are these memes referring to in terms of policy? What are the debates that are behind those, etc., and hopefully have some fun. So that's going to be the program to keep us occupied for the end of the morning. After which we will stop. So what time is it? It's 11:30 right now, a bit more. We'll see, like, I didn't count the exact number of memes, but there's quite a bit. I would say that we'll continue until 12:30, and then I will go on a break to have lunch and touch some grass, and then we'll restart in French at the beginning of the afternoon. But yeah, for now, let's go into memes and see how creative were people to make fun about the EU. All right, up. Normally it should be fine. Yes, okay, we are. So you see, it's all memes on the subreddit of Europe, which is specialized on doing memes about the EU. Subreddit I contributed a lot to. Now I do far less EU memes. I don't have the time anymore, so my memers days are a bit behind me. But yeah, let's see what we have up for people. Can you see correctly? Yes, I think that's visible enough. I can zoom a bit more, but let's see. So your opinion, I've done nothing wrong in my life ever. Europe, okay, yes. So of course, like we're on the subreddit that is heavily federalist. So of course, the EU can never do anything wrong in its life, which is, I mean, I have a different view on that, in the sense that my memes were, I mean, you know me, I'm very much pro EU. But when I was doing memes, I always try to have the memes that were also a bit critical, not necessarily critical in the sense, EU is bad, but to also pinpoint like a bit like sometimes the hypocrisy, like the double meaning, etc. And I know that when I was posting this kind of memes that were a bit more like cynical or critical of some things that are happening in reality in EU politics, like on subreddits like Europe, I would get like a bunch of people who get mad because I was making a meme that was not absolutely positive, like on the meme saying, "Oh yeah, look, there's nothing you could ever do that is wrong," even if that's an extract from that's an image from the very good TV show called Parks and Rec, and the character, like the lady there, is a terrible character. She does horrible things constantly, and the dad is like, "No, you never do anything wrong. You're perfect." And he stood as a bit of blind love sometime in the EU community, which, I mean, sometimes you have to be ready to acknowledge that, yeah, things are not necessarily always working as intended. Okay, but otherwise, yeah, I like it. Next up, don't forget Jean Monnet to Magic Man. Warmongering European countries. I can make this one. Okay, I really like this one. Especially on Europe Day. Like there you have a direct reference to Europe Day, because Europe Day is about the Schuman Declaration. So the declaration of Robert Schuman on the 9th of May 1950, where he basically announced the European project. And yeah, the fact that indeed that's very weird, like thinking about it with the perspective that we have today. What Europe is today, like back in the 50s, Europe was a bunch of countries that were just going out of a world war, not on the same sides of the war, completely destroyed and everything. So indeed, like it's pretty accurate, the idea. Yeah, okay, I have countries that have destroyed themselves, and yeah, I can make do. I can make it happen. Yes, I can bring together countries that were sworn enemies until then. So yeah, I really like this one. +1. Okay, what's this one? It's a video. Very good movie, Zoolander. Period 1950, there's nothing we can do to stop Germany and France from going to war again as soon as they will rebuild. Robert Schuman, okay, so again, a Robert Schuman reference. And also, I'll put it there again. The meme is also meta, and I like it, because in the context of the movie, like, so Zoolander, the guy is in a coal mine. And the initial version of the EU was about coal and steel. So the use of that meme in particular is very good, because it does accurately refer to indeed that it all started from coal, and that it was the start of everything. And ironically, like, one of the reasons we started by coal and steel was to prevent a restart of a war, because the French were very concerned that if Germany was allowed to reindustrialize, to reproduce and everything, reproduce heavy industry and everything, it would be able to reform an army and become a threat again to the rest of Europe. And so one of the ideas behind the community of European Community of Coal and Steel was to say, well, if we put together coal and steel, well, that means that we can check, like we will see if Germany does something, because to rebuild an army, you need coal and steel. And so if we put all that in common, well, then that means that somehow we can kind of control that Germany is not rearming behind our back. To be fair, it's easier to bring people together once they have lost everything and they're tired from fighting. I mean, yes, I still find it, amazing that you managed to convince the French and the Germans, who literally spent 5 years killing each other, that they're going to make a political alliance together, like saying, yeah, okay, we're going to put behind the fact that France was occupied by Germany, etc., etc. It's an insane achievement to have managed that. And the irony talking about the Schuman Declaration. The irony in all this is that Schuman was a minister back then in the French government, and he was doing the working on the European project with Jean Monnet, another one of the founding fathers of the EU. Jean Monnet being commissaire au plan, so working on the long-term plans of France, notably in terms of economy. And the ironic thing is that when Schuman does the Schuman Declaration, we basically announce we're going to do a sort of new alliance with European countries, including Germany, to rebuild and prevent the war from ever happening again, which is pretty ballsy move politically, kind of a big deal. The funny thing is that they did that almost in the back of the French government. Like, Schuman and Jean Monnet kind of kept the rest of the French government in the dark on exactly what they were going to do. They say, yeah, we're working on a thing with the Germans, with the Belgians, and the Italians and everything, but yeah, well, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's a small thing. Don't worry about it. And so, like, even on the day where Schuman is making the Schuman Declaration, which again announcing like the prelude of the European Union and all that, like half the French government didn't really understand actually the political significance and the political ambition behind that thing, and he kind of went through the motion and put them did like a fait accompli in the sense of well, now it's done. You have to deal with it. So I find it like because he was afraid that because of political rivalry and everything, people would try to prevent the project from coming to fruition. And yeah, in the end, that somehow that worked. Which for me, it's insane. Like when you look at this, you're like, but how insane you have to be to say, yeah, I'm doing this small thing with with the Germans, the Belgians, the Italians, and everything. But yeah, don't worry about it. It's fine. just have your coffee. I'm going to do things. Yeah, don't worry about it. I find that pretty insane as a and ultimately extremely ballsy in terms of approach. But anyway, okay. Next, what do we have? Can you see this one properly? So are you gay, like gay or something? What pride flag is that? Ah, yes, indeed. Which is a bit scary if you put a flag of the EU and people don't know what the flag of the EU is. Although maybe outside of Europe, but yeah, I would make that face too if someone was telling me, "Oh, is that a gay pride flag that you're putting there?" I would also maybe making that face like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" All right, next. Two on my head, two on my feet, two on my hands, two on my heart. Okay, cute. Okay. Okay, that one is okay. I am. Okay, I will validate it. I'll validate it. It's pretty funny. Checking out the end. That's I find it funny. Okay, I will allow it. Mom, the food isn't that odd. The food. Yeah. Okay. I have 30 commemorative euros at home. Yeah, I don't think that has ever worked on anyone, brother. I'm not sure. I mean, it takes the point that you're collecting coins, which is not necessarily something that everybody does, and it's a very niche hobby. But yeah, I don't think that's. I mean, probably that's what he thinks will happen and what will happen. No, I'm not king shaming. We don't king shame here, but it's a bit wishful thinking, I would say. Promise I won't get political. Thrilling, like, yeah, of course, like, yeah. That's a classic. No, don't worry. We're not talking about Europe today. You're not talking about Europe, and then 5 minutes later, you're like, yeah, okay, no, this is the thing that we have to do. And like in the EU bubble, it's even worse. Huh? In EU bubble, you see people during the weekend. Inevitably, you end up like talking about politics within 5 minutes, which is can be annoying if you have other people in the room that are absolutely not into politics. But yeah, that's definitely. I can confirm that's what happens. Ranking. Okay, yeah, so all the national member states and only the EU is S tier. Okay, fine. Next. Have you noticed the best thing is like are blue? Okay, yeah, that's is that an actual like no, that's not a European logo, that's a content creator thing. Okay. Okay, yeah. I'll allow it. Up next. Wake up, still European. Yeah. Yeah, okay, I'll approve this one. That's something that's often I say like to people who when they complain about the EU, you have people who are criticizing the EU. Say, oh no, but look, the EU is terrible. It's not doing enough things, etc., etc., etc. And you say, yeah, well, I mean, if you had to choose where you could live, anywhere. Probably you would choose the EU. I mean, probably despite everything, the EU is probably top 5, top 3 places in the world that you would like to be if you had a choice. Let's say that to a Brit. I mean, now all polls are saying that like the polls that are done in the UK about Brexit now, like. I think that all polls now are consistent to say that a majority of the Brits say, yeah, we kind of fucked up with that Brexit thing. Yeah, that was a dumb fucking idea. That doesn't necessarily mean that they want to redo the process to join the EU, but yeah, they say, yeah, we done fucked up. Hello. I mean, the still European. Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, the Brits are, especially since the election of Trump, they're kind of constantly being, yeah, you know, well, we're still European, like, you know, we still want to collaborate with you on plenty of things, etc. So the still European thing, the Brits are also on that front now, especially since the election of Trump. All right. Next. Fucking. Okay, here I'm going to be the petty meme maker. They fucked up the above. It should be a fucking love, the European Union. Yeah. I want to fucking integrate as many countries as possible under its liberal democratic government structure. Okay, so yeah, here we have the famous debate on how far the EU should go. The borders of Europe are also here. You see, like it's a continental Europe, so they integrate part of Russia. You see Georgia, Armenia. Yeah, that's Georgia here. So yeah, the expansion of the EU ad vitam aeternam, as long as you are. There's never been more Europeans since they left the EU. I would say since Trump came into power more so, but. There's no positive evolution socially and economically, rather the contrary, they have been lied to. Yeah, that's the famous promise on the red bus that they would get 350 million pounds per week to the not the NSA, the NHS. NSA is a very different thing. To the NHS, yeah, somehow that didn't pan out. Somehow. But yeah, the eternal debate about the borders of the EU, like should the EU go to Russia, should it go to the Balkans and everything, the Caucasus and everything. Classic. Although, like, I'm still like the mistakes there, like the mistake on the above, like makes me puts me out of the meme. I have to say, it's sloppy. It is sloppy, sloppy work on the memes. Wait, I'm actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna rank them. So my favorites so far, this one. Okay, this one definitely top. This one's funny. This one. For now, like the best one is this one. Like this one is the one that I'm like, yeah. I'm with you, brother. Okay, this one both. All right. Okay, no, that's actually not actually even a meme. That's just like a creation. Alors, solid foundations, democracy and rule of law, skill architects, so that the luminaries, motivated construction workers, that's the founding fathers, and the masterpiece, the DU. Yeah, okay, so. Okay, so in an historical perspective on what led the EU to the EU being created. Okay, I will accept it. Reduced by European Fund. For the Mundi, for the Vater, for the European Union. Okay, so for mother, for father, for the European Union. Yeah, okay, yeah, I like this one. It's I will approve of it. I will put it up in the top of the ranking. Problem is now I get lost into my thing. Okay, this one. Let the tweet of the glorious European Robin be heard throughout the world. I pay your debt, Greece, I'll kill you. Mr. European Union earning its Nobel Prize since... okay. I'm not... Okay, yeah, okay, so they're basically the EU serving as a... As the one in between... Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, I like what's the name of this comic series? It's shit, like something balls or something balls or that one or something like that. Countries as balls or something like that. Okay, yeah, so that's there. It's purely okay. Country balls. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Okay, this one, and that's not really funny. I'll spend my weekend before you shit post. Yeah, sometimes it feels like that indeed. Like when you are pumping memes. Yeah, that kind of feels like that. Yes, I can't recognize that flag. Well, that's Belgium. Because I like look, I see here is the Belgium. Yeah, here you have the council. That's Belgium, Belgian police. But I don't know what flag is this. Armenia? Let's see. You might be right. Like, it's a very orange yellow there, but that could be Armenia. You're right. That might be like a pro-Armenian protest. But it's very orange. Or maybe that's the color grading, because normally it's yellow, but... Okay, yeah, probably the color grading, because the red is also a bit weird, so yeah, okay, you're right, it's probably an Armenian protest in front of the council, like the wooden thing there, that's the thing of the council building in Brussels. Okay, next. Why do we have ends? There are many reasons. Pat the flag, hold the flag, cherish the flag, forfeit all mortal possession to the EU flag. I like it. I like the forfeit all mortal possession. Yeah, okay, I like it. I approve of it. Okay, it goes at the top of the ranking. Up, scrolling back down the list. Tag. No, you know what? I'm going to delete those that I. Which one? This one. This one. Okay. Next up. Why not visit European Parliament? Cozy company, translated into your favorite language. Vexillology. Vexillology, I guess that's the science of flags, I guess. Cool money going to my homeboys in the East. As long as they return some cool money, okay. Archbishop Jean, yeah, Jean-Claude. In a relationship issue. Okay, I don't get the final one on the relationship issue, but Archbishop, I mean, you know me, I'm a big Juncker stan, so you know, I approve of it. You found a Reddit post about flags, asking about Armenian flag, and this was the top comment. States that the Armenian flag is red, blue, and orange. It's orange? That's weird, because when I look on Google, it's yellow. Okay, it's a... Okay, now that's a very orange yellow. Okay, fine. Okay, I will... Yeah, okay. That's actually more orange than yellow. Okay, that's on me, chat. That's on me. Alright, this one, cute. Ah, reference to Orban. Yeah, but it's European Parliament. So... What is it? It's certificate of... I don't know what it is. Okay, the relationship issues, I don't know about it. When you know me, friends find your meme and shit posting folder. I can explain everything. Yeah. Okay, this one. Yeah, definitely. Like, if you open my my meme folder, I mean, it's mostly my memes, so I can explain every. I have an explanation for every single one of them. I can explain my memes. I have an explanation for them. Okay, so this one I like. That one we did. This one we did. Okay, this one. Who would win? 82 million Germans. And okay, so the population of each country. Or 500 million Europeans. Okay, cute. Today was the time again, Singapore. Is that a free trade agreement? Ooh, that's like that's Mogherini, that's. So she's the former High Representative, so the former like Foreign Affairs Minister of the EU. If I'm correct, I think that's Mogherini. But okay, it's an old meme. It's 8 years ago, so it's a while. Was she standing for trade agreements back then? I don't remember. But okay, good old Mogherini. Working together where it matters. Europe economically, Europe culturally. Okay, yeah, well, okay, fine. I'll allow it. EU in 2015. Not sure if it can bail out one of its member states. Yeah, reference to the Greek crisis. And in 2022, supplying weapons to third state that engage in conventional war with a nuclear superpower. Yeah. Okay, I will allow it. Although I would still argue that in 2022 there's a few dimensions like this. When you look at the amount of time it takes to agree on anything on foreign affairs, I would. I mean, to an extent, like the supplying weapons to third states. I mean, that's 2022, so that's fine. But like today, that will not work because Orban had paralyzed the system for supplying weapons to Ukraine. So 2015, which member state? That's Greece. That's Greece. We are back then. We are in the negotiations about the Greek crisis. So would the Europeans bail Greece in its economic crisis? And you had the whole debate with what was his name? Wolfgang Schäuble, the Minister of Economy of Germany, pushing for Greece to be kicked out of the Eurozone. You had all the duels between Varoufakis, the Minister of Economy and Finance of Greece with everyone else, etc. So yeah, that was a bit tense back then. There was some tensions. All right. Next. Something is about to happen that has not happened since the yellow days. Europeans are going to wake up and find, okay, yeah, cute. That's when 4 years ago, 2022. Okay, so yeah, I can see. Hi, Dart. Is Varoufakis still a thing for the left? Not really. Like, he has done like his own micro party. He went a bit AWOL, let's say. I think recently he was criticized because he was showing up in Russia to some party conference there. So yeah, no, Varoufakis is kind of doing his own thing, and nobody is really paying attention to him anymore. It appears that my superiority has led to some controversy. I like it. Okay, I like this one. I'm putting it on the top. Up. Okay, you go on top. I like it. Up. Yes, still a few more. We did this one. This one. Oh, this one. You potential you right now. Remember you are. Yeah, I like this one. Very good. very good. I like it. That's a strong use of the template. I really like it. Do this cooking. Okay, this one I saw already. Ah, shit, I skipped a few. No, there we go. We hope we won't need it. But here's some important. Okay, losing my passport when my country doesn't have an embassy. Realizing EU citizen can get. That's an official EU memes. Look, that's a meme from the Commission, from the European Parliament. So you see, like, the time have evolved. The Parliament is making memes and referring to indeed something that is actually one of your rights. Indeed, if you there is an obligation for member states to provide. Consular assistance, meaning that if you have an issue in another country outside the EU, and that, let's say, your embassy is not, you don't have an embassy of your country in that one, you can go to any European embassy of a member state, and they have the obligation to help you out. So that's indeed like a right that you have, the right to consular protection. Yeah, that's an obligation of member states. That's an obligation of member states if you have a European citizen that is asking for the help of from a consulate, an embassy of one of the member states. If they're like, okay, I'm French. If let's say I go to Colombia, and let's say that there was no French embassy or consulate in Colombia, I could go to the consulate of Germany, of Greece, or any other member state, and they would have the obligation to help me. That's one of the obligations under EU law to provide assistance to any European citizen in need. So that is a true thing, and it's a meme made by the institutions. Finally, the institutions are going into memes. And it's not a bad one. I have to say, for an institutional meme, not a bad one. That's not a bad one. Perfect Christmas doesn't exist. That's the parliament? That could also apply if you are stuck in a city where your embassy or consulate is not, but there is a consulate. If you're in Sao Paulo and the embassy is in Rio, I think that would work. I think you could go to the local the consulate in that city and say, okay, I'm a French. I mean, it would depend on the kind of assistance that you would need. But I think you could go to a consulate and a local consulate and ask if your country is not represented in the city consulate. I think that would work. I think so. But again, it would depend on the kind of assistance you would be in need of. Like if it's everything, like like you need repatriation, they would get you put you in contact with your embassy back in the other city, etc. But yeah, they would help you out. The Lego meme would have been perfect if instead of 6+ they put the 27+. Ah yeah, that would have been good. That would have been good. And so that's the parliament. So that does not exist. That was created for a meme, but there is, I think, the council at some point and made a custom EU council Lego. They have a legal council, not legal, not legal, a Lego council version that they expose, that I know. And at the end of the previous mandate, you had the communication advisor of Thierry Breton, so was the French commissioner, who made a version of the Berlaymont, so the building of the commission, in Lego. And I actually went to his office to see it because like it was towards the end of the mandate. So he's like, oh yeah, I finished doing during summer my Berlaymont building in Lego. If you want to come and see it, just tell me. And so I told him, and so I went to his office and I saw the Berlaymont. It's not a full Berlaymont. It's only one part of the building. Actually, I still have the pictures, I think, somewhere in there. Which was not bad, honestly, for something that he did during his summer. That goes a bit back. Let me see if I could find it and show it to you. Maybe a bit later. No, I can't find it. It's weird. Trying to scroll. Ah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Bougez pas. No. Ah, yes. Did I take a full picture? No, I did not. Ah, shit. Well, I have this picture. I'll put it on the camera. So it's a picture I took of the office of Thierry Breton that he pictured as Superman. And ironically, he put him on the 13th floor, but yeah, he did that. Even if instead I did that outside my working hours. But yeah, the Lego. I mean, it would be insane if the Parliament made a European Parliament in Lego version. And especially like the Parliament, if you do the Parliament building in Strasbourg, that could look nice. That could look nice. I mean, let's check. Lego European Parliament. So yeah, there are people who have built like their own custom version of it. The European Council. Can't see it. But I know for sure the council had made a version of the council, like of the. Basically, they made the multicolor like. Wait a second, I will show you. So that room, like that's the iconic room of the European Council, and they had made this room in a Lego version. All right. Next up. Sorry, I need to use success on JXX. That's commitment. That's commitment. Do you think the Lego Parliament has a number 19 empty? I do not know, but that would not even work because MEPs often change seats. So it's most likely that seat number 19 is not anymore the seat of Bardella. They change. Sometimes they switch around. Okay, yeah, someone who is very committed to the theme. All right, and that seems to be a real picture. So yeah, very committed to the cause. I don't even know, like, I'm sure. I mean, does that exist? Like a actual bed stuff like in the shape of the EU flag. I'm sure that you can find it somewhere, but all right. I don't know what my friends like, what I like. Okay, so we have comic books, Marvel, and below is what? You have something with the EU in the comic book. What the fuck? Do you know Europa Park? Maybe they have some. I mean, it's funny because we were talking about it like in the previous Euroguesser. I've never been to Europa Park, but Europa Park has nothing to do with the EU. It's absolutely not EU related or even themed park. It has nothing to do with Europe. It just happened to be called Europa Park, but yeah, it's not something done around the theme of Europe even. Alright, next up. Found a Captain Euro. There is a Captain Euro? What the fuck is that, an actual thing? I didn't know about a Captain Euro. What the hell is that? Holy shit, that's a thing. Wait, is that oh shit. Captain Euro is a comic book superhero created in 1999 as a way to promote the European Union, and specifically the launch of the EU, of the Euro. I had never heard of that thing. That's great. I'm so keeping it aside. Like, how many? The place of the origin is the Atomium in Brussels. Holy shit. So, he runs the 12-Star Organization, a group which seeks to defend the security of Europe and uphold the values of the Union. His teammates include his sidekick Europa, an environmentalist and archaeologist, and assistants Eric, Helen, Marcus, Lupo, and Lupo the Timberwolf, and the computer system Pythagoras. I need to find that. And, okay, he has an enemy. The major foe of the organization is Dr. Divider. Oh, Divider. Okay, yeah, Divider. Okay. Divider's full name was originally David Viderius, but after the relaunch, he became Dexter Viderius. He was originally a ruthless speculator and former financier who hopes to divide the European Union so that he can more easily conquer it. After the 2014 relaunch, so they relaunched it in 2014, he became the head of Dividex, an evil multinational corporation. And in 2016, he was changed again to become the head of Vipera, a crime syndicate. How many versions of this thing that there? That's insane. I have to find it. This thing, like I'm a big fan of the random sidekicks where you have a wolf and a supercomputer. Like, why? Okay, that I will keep, because like the very idea of that comic book character existing is a meme in itself. So yeah, I'm keeping it. That's insane. That will go straight into the quiz. Let's see. Okay, this one we saw. I need to scroll again. Yeah, we saw this one. This one I don't know what it is. Okay, let's continue. Miss European Sun is here to judge a country lo-fi. Okay, yeah. The funny thing is that So here they make an anime version of Miss European Union. The funny thing is that the EU actually made an anime character for the Osaka World Fair, and the character is trash. Let me show you it. EU mascot Osaka. Yeah. Introducing Europa, like. And that is bad. Seriously, like this one is bad. Like, so that's the official mascot of the EU for the Expo, the 2025 Expo in Osaka. Like, they actually had someone, a professional, sit down and say, "Hey, do us like a mascot." And like, that's trash. that's so bad. And on the other side, you have this. The Vatican made a mascot, and the mascot is actually great. It's a great mascot that they made. An anime girl named Luce. And like the Vatican mascot is better than the EU one. Like that's insane. Like, I don't know if they paid someone or if they just grabbed the intern and say, "Intern, you're gonna do me a mascot." It fits very well with the Japanese market. No, I'm sorry, like, that is great. Like, that's perfect. Like, do that. Do that. Don't do that. Like, that's just... I mean, if it was like, if you were telling me, "Oh, look, that's the proposal of mascot made by young activist," I would say, okay, fine. It's activists, it's people, like, it's non-professional, it's a fan art and stuff like that. Like, nah, that is done by a professional. Like, it's an institutional thing. That's bad. This one fits better the Japanese market than the Western market, you think? Really? I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't. It doesn't look Japanese to me. As a. Huh. DJM is one way. Okay. That's odd. Huh. I still prefer this one. So you're telling me that actually they made something that is working for the Japanese market? Well, shit. I'll be down. I still don't like it, but okay. I mean, they may be re-earning some points if you're telling me that indeed this is something that is adapted to the Japanese market. I'm still struggling with it, but okay. I will begrudgingly give back some points. Begrudgingly. Yeah, no, okay, no. I will give them back points then if it was indeed designed for the Japanese market and that actually the Japanese market likes this. Okay, fine. Fine. I will... it's so magical. I will... okay, fine. I will accept. I'll take the L. Europe, a nameless thing. Calling everything Euro something. Yeah. That's not how I would have done it. You see, I would have done this. Europe, a nameless thing. Calling everything council. That's how I would have done it. I would have done it with the council. More than the Euro something. But I get what they were going for. I was pleasure to want to see it. No, the plenary is definitely not a pleasure room, rather the contrary. But okay, I like it. I like this one. It's a good one. Going at the top. Up. I need to scroll again. Where was I? This one. Ah oui, Café de Pierre Kroll. Yeah. This one is okay. This one is not a meme. It's an actual press caricature that was made like in the when was it? In the 60s? No. How many members is there? 1, 2, 3. Ah, maybe more recent than I thought. Actually, when. But yeah, it's basically the meme is maybe you can't see it. Is like back when it was six countries and now 27. It's much more complete to achieve things. That's a great classic. This one is a classic. We like it. We go straight at the top. Probably one of the most iconic caricature about Europe, and a good one at that. Up. Where was I? There. Are you kidding? Wanna build an Imperium Europa? Okay, yeah. I see what you're going for. You federalists be like, yeah. That's there's definitely a vibe there. Yeah. I will. I'm approving it. I approve of this. Where is it? Shit, I skipped a few. Ah! I went too far. Way too far. Shit. Okay, did. One I did. This one I did. Okay, this one. With this device, I can now read the mind of my crush. I can only approve of it. It's Jean-Claude. I mean, Jean-Claude is c'est notre Nicotis à nous, quoi. C'est notre Raïs à nous. Okay. You're taking me by the feelings there. I have to accept. Okay, I'm getting lost into the memes. Ah, there's too many. How long have you been a federalist? 6 years. As the EU federalized. Yeah, I think you're gonna wait for a while before it actually becomes a federation. Let me just go back to this. There we go. Okay. It's criminal, but have you had a deal that brings you step closer to Federal Europe? That one is funny, but not for the reasons they think. Not for the reasons they were hoping for. Actually, I find this meme very funny because Van Dalen and Charles Michel absolutely fucking hate each other. And that's why I find it extremely funny to make a meme around them. Oh, look, we are pals. Well, actually, they absolutely fucking hate each other. So it's funny, but not for the reasons they were thinking it was going to be funny or accurate. So it's chaotically funny, let's say. Those who know. EU federalization in terms of Reddit. Okay, fine. Oula. European Federalist Starter Pack is called Ananas. Okay, I don't have... I play football, not an egg. Okay, that's reference football versus American football. Euronews. Okay, yeah, okay, that's cute. That's cute. Oh, look, Macron, he looks so young. Has tried to learn Esperanto at least once. Who in their right mind has tried to learn Esperanto? I don't know a single person who has tried to learn Esperanto. My European federalism. My fear the EU will end up with a two-party system. Okay. Ah, Macron. In order to ensure security and continued stability, the Union will be reorganized into a first European Federation. Okay, I've got the ref. I've got the ref. A bit of a dark reference because there he's saying, yeah, okay, Macron is the European Palpatine. But okay, I got the ref. He is the Senate, yeah. Me after learning this morning, the EU is the biggest exporter of the world, far ahead China and the US. European together strong. Okay, yeah. Federalization versus vassalization. Yeah, classic. You actually tried impressions? Joint Fédéral Europe, Polska also. And oh my god, thank you for bringing world peace, Europe. Okay, it's not bad. It's not bad. The only thing I would change, so France imagine that the world is going to reward them for being the peaceful thing, etc. Poland just want to bash Russia. I approve of this one, of the part on Poland. On the French part, I would have done it differently. I would have done France imagine Europe as the new empire, the new Napoleonic empire. That would have been for me more accurate as to what the French want from a federal Europe, more than world peace and etc. Say no, it's the world is French now. That's how I would have done it, but I really like the part with the Polish one. As the US expands, so does the EU. I would have done as the US expands, so does Juncker, so does Jean-Claude. Europeans waiting for the collapse of the US so they can start recolonization. Not really EU, but okay, I will allow it. I will allow it. Okay, the EU that includes Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Japan. Okay, yeah, okay, that's okay, that's Korea. I was like, yeah, but where is North Korea? Like, okay, yeah. Why are they not showing North Korea then? That's kind of weird. Like, you could just put it in gray. Okay, yeah. So those who want Europe all over the world. Once upon a time in 2037. All these years after. Okay, yeah, I get it. I get it. That's the members of the shit. Now what's the name of this? Help me out, chat. EFTA. Damn it. You have this bunch of countries that wanted to create the counter European Union, and that didn't work out. And so most of them now are in the EU, and the only one remaining are the UK, Switzerland, and Iceland. No, that's not. Shit, that's Iceland or Norway? Shit, I have my flag confused. Yeah, no, that's Norway. The one of Iceland is blue. Yeah, that's yeah. Blue is Iceland, red is Norway. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I approve of it. Okay, I approve of it, but okay, not EU related, but okay. America collapses and leaves uncolonized land behind. Europe, okay, yeah, same thing. So, gentlemen, the time has come to get back. Okay. Look, mom, Europe. I like this one. I like this one. The empire on which the sun never sets. I like this one. And it's wrong because they have Greenland inside Europe, which is not the case. And probably there's a bunch of islands that should not be there. So I like it. A few mistakes here and there. Up. Scroll. Do not join the EU or else. Yeah, okay. Cute. To be fair, memes often make mistakes. Yeah, okay, no, that's true. That's, I'm being a stickler with it. I will accept the criticism. German lo-fi girl. Not about the EU, but I like it. I like Angela as the lo-fi girl. I approve. She protects, she attacks, she takes the money back. Okay, yeah. We have a Vestager fan meme. Oula. Von der Leyen Queen. Look at this absolute unit of a commission. It's funny. I will. I'll give it to you. Yeah. Ursula goes Super Saiyan indeed. Without the EU, with the EU, okay, cute. The council can't escape it. Ah, okay. Yeah. What's the image in the middle? What is this thing in the middle? Let's test your knowledge. What is that thing? Except lo-fi is supposed to be chill. I would not have put the German train in the same category. Yeah, everybody hates the Deutsche Bahn. That's for sure. That's the picture of the black hole. Indeed, that's a picture of the black hole that was discovered. Picture taken by European satellites, and you even had like the commission. The European Commission, you had the press conference in the European Commission where they showed the picture, they made the whole thing about it, etc. So they were very happy of that achievement. All right, next. Not suitable for dumb American children. Yeah. Okay. Do you know why they show that? Do you know why? What's the link between Kinder Surprise and in America? Indeed, because in the US the Kinder Surprise is forbidden because it's banned because they're afraid that people will actually swallow the toy. They'll just like gobble up the egg and eat the toy that is inside. So if you're European, but which country do you belong to? Country can be local language, but country where I work. It's not that simple. Okay, yeah. That's a bit niche, but okay, yeah, I will allow it. Oh, Le Chou news. That's been a very long time since I've seen a meme from Le Chou. Have you ever wondered if there's more to life than other being really, really ridiculously good looking? Finland as Prime Minister. That's a good one. Pedro Sanchez in San Marin. Back then, the Prime Minister of Pedro Sanchez is still Prime Minister of Spain, but San Marin back then was the Prime Minister of Finland. Indeed, good-looking people, and a good reference to Zoolander. We approve. I believe in fixed bottle cap and USB-C supremacy. That's gonna make a lot of far-right people unhappy. Okay, speaking of which, this is definitely making far-right people enraged. Like, it's funny, like now, whenever you have Eurosceptics complaining about the EU, they will talk to you about the bottle cap. Like, for them, like, the only thing that matters in the world are, look, there's the bottle cap in Europe. Which, to be fair, if that's the worst thing you can complain about regarding the EU, that's pretty, that's fine, I would say. I can live with it. Potato Europe, tomato Europe. Alright, that's fine. I would... I would put the potato Europe a bit more south in France, but I may be a bit biased there. But yeah, okay, I will approve of it. 27-1, okay, yeah, okay, the European Army, classic. United States of Europe military. Another classic. Okay, we seem to be in the defense kind of thing. Stream single-handedly uniting European armies. Okay, yeah, so we are definitely into the. So yeah, I would even put like without the armies, uniting Europe without even being elected. Indeed, Trump has been a big factor into this. Next up, apology form to Charles de Gaulle. American global hegemony, French superiority. Yeah, okay, yeah. That one I have seen the template of the apology form to Charles de Gaulle following the election of Trump and everything. Yeah. That one. That one I reason for behavior, the French are annoying. Would they actually join the EU? I mean, is the average Japanese aware of? I mean, aware. I guess they are aware of the existence of the EU, but like, what's the take of Japanese on Europe? That'd be interesting to know. Hey, that's one of mine. Happiest brain in my memory. Ah, yeah, the Juncker slap. That's one of mine. I'm biased. That's one of my memes. But yeah. The day Juncker slapped Orban. Ah, good time. Good time. Japanese are ignored overall, but politics measure the risk and opportunity and are aligning a knot with the EU. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm biased, so I'm not going to put this one into the top because, of course, yeah, I kind of approve of my own meme, but yeah, good times. I remember I was in the parliament back then when that happened. It was we were in Strasbourg. It was a plenary session, and I remember like this thing happening, and like then telling my MEP, like, have you seen the video of Juncker slapping Orban? And he looks like, no, that didn't happen. I mean, yeah, sure. Like, and I show you the video. It's like, holy shit, it's insane, but that's great. My boss like thinking like we were making fun of it. And said, no, he didn't slap. Come on, he didn't slap Orban. Said, no, look. And showing the video is like, oh, that's great. Send me the link. I will share it with people. That one is a legendary. Like, that's the reason why we like Juncker. I mean, that's Jean-Claude supremacy, people. Let's see. What do you have for me? Trying to play peekaboo with my child, but he's a European diplomat. Where did my daddy go? We must articulate a post-daddy vision of strategic autonomy. Peekaboo. My historic relationship with my father is stable despite recent trouble. Yeah, okay. I made like a meme about like the babies talking into Euro jargon. I approve of the joke. Astroikos. It's a good one. You have my validation on this one. All right, what's next? Ah, and that was the last one actually. He kept my own meme for the end. So let's see the best memes let's try to rank them. So I would say, okay, yes, 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 yes. Okay, let's do a top 10. There's a bit more than 10, but let's do a top 10. Okay, first one, I would put... this one is very good. I like also this one. Okay, I'll keep this one top, at the top. I'll keep this one first. This is very good. I love it. Then I will put this one. Remember Who You Are. This one is very good. Okay, I have to put in the top 3 this one from Pierre Kroll. Okay, yeah, it about Japan. I will put The Pleasure Room as 4th, like as a parliament person. I cannot like let that slide. The European superiority, yes, I'm going to put this. Yeah, off. No, I'll put a bit lower. Yeah, the other ones are fine, but okay. Top 5, so this one, this one, this one. The Pleasure Room is very good. And The Supremacy. Alright. Chat. It's yeah, we lasted longer than I anticipated. 15 to 1. So what we're going to do? I'm going to pause the stream for now. I hope that you enjoyed this stream in English for Europe Day. I'm coming back a bit before 2 today. We'll be in French. We'll start with a discussion with a fellow streamer Yann from Carte du Monde. We'll talk about Europe and of course like all the what is at stake and everything, and then we'll continue with an FAQ politics. So I'll do a Q&A on European politics, so that this afternoon in French, so do come back if you're French speaking. Otherwise, I hope that you enjoyed today's content, that you had fun, that you learned stuff. If you're not coming back this afternoon, don't forget to follow the channel if that's not already the case. If you have a Prime lying around, do toss a coin to your streamer. And otherwise, next week, yes, I do the program for next week. Next week, reverse program. Tuesday, I'm doing Euroguesser on Arte at 7. Wednesday, news review in French. And Friday, news review in English. So, as usual, we have the reverse timing when it's an Euroguesser week. And yeah, on this note, I wish you all a bon appétit, effectivement. And I will see you hopefully this afternoon or later today. Bye, everyone. See you in a bit. Bye-bye.